Whoa, I got to get Tony over in the right window. There we go. There he is. That's better. I forgot to put him over there. Hey, guys, what's going on? What's happening? Hey, folks, I should say. Guys, that's not me. Hey, folks, how you doing? My name's Dave
Ladies
McRae.
and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Dave McRae, coming to you live from the VoiceMann Studios in Toronto, Canada. He's Tony Michael in Atlanta, Georgia. This is episode 134 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Tonight, Tony Michael and I are watching the 2007 independent horror movie Paranormal Activity. Ladies and gentlemen, we are live! We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Paranormal Activity, the original 2007 movie. Whether you like it, whether you hate it, whether you hate the series, whether you like the series, is irrelevant. When it comes to the box office of this first movie, the risk that Paramount Pictures took, it paid off for them. This was the movie, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Jason Blum, in and around this time, was either working for Paramount or he might have been, I think he was directly involved, at least in some sort of way, of facilitating the acquisition of Paranormal Activity for Paramount Pictures. Maybe I'm completely wrong on that, but I think there's a Jason Blum and Paranormal Activity connection, I'm almost positive, and this was sort of the catalyst, the beginning of Jason Blum, people looking at him going, wow, this guy he knows what he's doing here. And then, of course, the rest is history when he left Paramount, because I think he used to work for Paramount, and he left Paramount to start Blumhouse, which eventually is what we know it to be. But Paranormal Activity, this movie, cost $15,000 to make. That's it. I mean, It's Me, Billy cost $60,000. This was a $15,000, no budget, little independent movie, probably shot on I don't know what, mini DV maybe. I'm not sure what it was shot on, but certainly low budget independent film, $15,000. He released it in a couple of theaters, a couple of festivals, and then Paramount Pictures took notice. It started to get a little bit of buzz at some of the festivals. Paramount Pictures took notice and was like, we could probably make money off of that. And they did, and then some, and they bought the rights to it. They put an extra $200,000, I believe, into the movie's ending. They weren't now, I actually like the original ending. It's more my style, much more nuanced and subtle and creepy and not so Hollywood. But Hollywood comes along and says to this guy, hey, we want to distribute your movie into movie theaters, but we want to change your ending to make it a little more Hollywood. I mean, they wouldn't have said it like that, but that's essentially what it was. And he was kind of like, yeah, how much integrity, artistic, yeah. He probably did the right thing. I don't know if he's gone on to make any other movies, but certainly he probably reaps the financial benefit of subsequent sequels, and at the very least, and they put an extra $200,000. So although Paranormal Activity, you might see the budget to Paranormal Activity in and around the $200,000 mark, that's a little misleading. The actual film cost $15,000 to make, but Paramount put that extra money in to put some visual effects in and come up with a couple of different endings and whatnot. The ending where Katie kind of goes at the camera and her eyes change and all that kind of stuff.
Right. And what are we talking? Seconds of the film was changed, really. I mean, a minute? Really? Was it a minute maybe?
I believe, I'm not sure. I believe in the theatrical cut, the cut that we know, where Katie is, I haven't seen this movie in a long time. I believe when she's standing over the bed, just staring at him, that might have been part of the added stuff, part of the reshoots. I'm not sure. But you can go to YouTube and you can just type in Paranormal Activity, original endings, or original ending versus theatrical. And there's a video that pops up and they give you the three versions. They give you the theatrical in the top left, they give you the original in the top right, and they give you the alternate version in the bottom sort of center. And
I need to go rewatch those when we're done tonight.
Yeah, and you can kind of see what the difference was. But of course, it paid off. I mean, this became one of the highest grossing independent movies in motion picture history. I believe it might even be that today. It was at one time, certainly the highest grossing independent horror movie in history, at the very least, because highest grossing independent movie, and you can kind of, break that down into genres as well. So,
sure.
I mean, I don't know what this filmmaker has done beyond that. If I just go to Wikipedia here and I put in his name, he has, so he's So obviously he has not directed any of the rest of the Paranormal Activity movies. He has served as a producer on the rest of the Paranormal Activity movies. So he's getting paid. He's getting paid. It was the right thing for him to do. He was a director and executive producer and writer on the 2014 film Area 51. He's also done things like he was a producer on The Bay, the River TV series. He's dabbling, but certainly the Paranormal Activity franchise is his bread and butter. In terms of, he holds out his, a wonderful thing happens to this guy. Every time they make a Paranormal Activity movie, he extends his hand and a check falls into it. That is really what happens. He's sort of the John Carpenter of this franchise in that sense. Sure. So now, I remember when I first watched this movie, I haven't seen it in about 10 years. I liked it. I did like it. I actually liked part 2. I saw part 2 in the theater when it came out, I think in 2010, 2011. And I actually liked part 2. I thought it was a step up from part 1, but not too crazy. And some of the crazy things that happen in like the kitchen and the things and the doors all kind of opening at the same time and the dog. One of
my favorite filming sequence in horror, if I were to rank when she
gets pulled down the stairs,
when Christy gets pulled from her kid's room down the stairs to the basement, we know probably how they did it.
Yeah.
The execution of it though, that's so good.
Oh, it's good.
That's that's the kind of shit that's like, man, that's why I want to make films. You know what I mean? Like it's so good and was so well done. But I agree with you. Part 2, because of some of those scenes, like Christy getting dragged all the way down the stairs, it just slightly edges out the first film, but we're talking like that. You know what I mean? Like,
I understand.
Very, very little difference.
Now, I never saw the rest. I have not seen beyond Paranormal Activity 1 and 2. I have not bothered watching any of the Paranormal Activity movies. I don't care if it's 3, 4, Next of Kin, whatever the other subtitles are. I have not watched them. But Tony, you've watched them, so we don't have to. And how do you feel? Not good, eh?
Like I said right before the stream, by the time I get to 3 and the ending of 3 comes, I'm like, I'm good. I don't need any more, even though I've seen them all. I've seen the marked ones. I've seen part 4, then the marked ones. And then Next of Kin. I think that's the order. I might be forgetting one in there. Right. I can't remember if there's 6 or 7 of them, but I only own the first 3. Those are the ones that I own. I've rented the others and watched the others. And like I was telling you before the stream, part 3 is good. It's a good throwback to the 80s. I like how they did it in the digital VHS style. But like I said, by the time the ending of part 3 comes and it gets kind of culty and, even though, the boyfriend's kill was cool. What happens to him and what happens to Christy and Katie's mom, like that kind of left my head scratching because I know who's doing. I don't want to spoil it for you, but like, I know what's happening and I know who's doing it and I know who's responsible for it. And I'm like, really? Would the mom really do this to her own daughter? Right. And just like, there was just, I don't know. By the time I get to the ending of the movie, I just feel like the ending wasn't thoroughly thought out. Whereas like in the first 2, like you said, obviously they went with the Hollywood version of the end of the first one with Katie staring into the camera. Part 2, love the ending of part 2. I have no complaints with part 2. By the time the third film rolls around and you're getting to that, payoff, I'm like, okay. Well,
I think what it is for me is that, if you've been watching me for any length of time, Tony, you know this. People in the chat room know this. I am very, I am somebody that I'm when it comes to as a filmmaker, as an artist, as a creator, if I'm, I can't talk too much about it right now, what myself and Bruce are working on. Tony knows a little bit about what that is, but hopefully there'll be a time very soon where we can reveal that, but because it's potentially some really exciting stuff. But even with what I'm working on now, you know, it's that I'm a very nuanced, subtle, theater of the mind kind of guy. And of course, there always has to be a payoff, and you got to deliver, and you got to pay off. You know, the end result, the journey has to be worth it. But I think for me, when I watched Paranormal Activity, I appreciated what they attempted to do with $15,000. And then when I saw Paranormal Activity 2, which, yes, I was correct, it was 2010 when it came out. I just looked it up. When I watched that movie, of course, they had a bigger budget. They stepped up the game a little bit, but it wasn't too over the top, right? It was more kind of like a CCTV version of Poltergeist or something. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't too crazy. It wasn't too crazy. It was a little more over the top, but it wasn't too crazy. It was genuinely frightening in some moments because I thought the pacing and when they chose to reveal certain things was actually really good. Now, yes, I haven't seen 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever, but the trailers, when I look at the trailers, I feel it's now just Hollywood now. It's now just the more these movies go on, the more sensational they have to be, the more crazy they have to be, because they can't just keep, they can't keep being subtle and creepy and theater of the mind, because they're just doing the same movie over and over and over again. And the more sequels you make, the more crazy you got to get, the more outlandish you have to be, the more sensational that things have to be. So when I saw, part 3 and then part 4 and then part 5, and I'm just like, it just looks like a Hollywood movie now. Like it doesn't, I much prefer I'm just like, I'm out.
Because of the storytelling in parts 1 and 2, you can almost watch those as one seamless film because they really integrate with each other very well and connect, even though 2 is more of a prequel to 1. It's leading up to the events that happened in part 1. Yeah, that's right. Because Katie kills Christy's husband at the end.
And I don't like that either. Sorry, I just want to interrupt to just say, because again, I'm more of a linear storyteller. Not that I don't appreciate a good prequel. Not that I wouldn't make a good prequel myself, or a prequel that made sense, myself. But I'm a very linear. So I always hate when they go 1, 2, and then 3 is actually part 1, and then now 1 is actually 3. And I'm just like, well, why?
That would be the order, actually. Part 3 is part 1.
Well, this is what I'm saying. It's like, well, then why is part 3 so crazy and over the top, but part 1, quote unquote, is very subtle and new? Like, it doesn't, the energy of the movies don't fit the order for which they're released. So I always am like, it's messy. I don't like it. But that's just me.
I love this. I mean, this is probably, if I were to do like a ranking of like super, haunting movies or whatever, this is definitely up there. And when I say up there, meaning like 1 and 2, the first 2 Paranormals, because like I said, I watched those as like one complete movie. Easily like in that 3 spot for me after The Conjuring and Poltergeist.
I like Insidious too, but that's not ghosts. That's demons.
Yeah, I'm talking more in like the Conjuring. Paranormal, a little bit of possession, whatnot. The thing that I like even about the first 2 films, and yes, part 2, they were able to raise up the production value a little bit more on the supernatural occurrences happening. But what part 1 did so effectively, which is what I've said all the time, what I say all the time is that you don't need to go over the top to create a really good suspenseful scene. You can keep it simple, keep it very simple, keep it subtle. And that's the one thing I can say about this movie, that if you're trying to become a filmmaker, is just watch this movie, watch the original Halloween. Just they're going about it in a very simplistic way, but the payoffs are so good. And like you said, once they get by the time they get to 5, everything's like digitalized and over the top, and like,
that's just it. And like, that's right. Well, when you only have a certain amount of money to use, you have to use it wisely, and then you have to think of, you're not reliant on special effects or, there's saying in film, we'll fix it in post. It's kind of a funny thing, and sometimes you can do that, but when you have such a limited amount of money, you have to get creative on how you tell your story and where how you're going to utilize the scares. How can we scare people? Because we can't say, well, we'll worry about it in post, because you don't got the money for post, you know, in terms of the visual effects. So yeah, no,
Sure.
I agree. Well, let's watch this thing.
Let's do this.
Paranormal Activity. We are paused at the moment where, of course, the text is on the screen, and that text reads, Paramount Pictures would like to thank the families of Micah Sloat and Katie Featherston, I believe that is, and the San Diego Police Department. I love that. So fun.
I love the fact that they use their real names and they're playing basically like alternate versions of themselves.
Fictional versions of themselves, yeah. All right, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, Paranormal Activity. Like I said, it's been a while since I've seen this. Haven't seen it in probably 10 years.
I just watched it in October, the first 2.
Cool.
Yeah, I usually watch the first 2 every year. Those are they're my go-to movies to watch, especially around the Halloween season.
Right.
The third one it's a mood, like if I'm feeling it, you know what I mean?
Yep.
God, look at that. This is before like vlogging was like even a thing.
Well, YouTube,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. YouTube.
He's basically vlogging.
Anything. Yeah, of course he is. Yeah, that's it. YouTube had just come out.
I will say this, Katie's hot, but I think I like her sister a little bit. Her sister's got, the girl who plays her sister, Christy, her eyes, like her eyes are very attractive, but Katie's hot. She's got that dark brunette.
Yeah, coming in.
Got pretty eyes too.
Yeah, the original ending, for those of you that don't know, the original ending that was seen at the festivals was Katie had left the room, and of course you hear her screaming in the distance, and then her husband, you know, gets out of bed, and is like, Katie, oh my God, and runs to her. And of course the security camera is just in the, you know, is in the bedroom, and you hear shit going off in the distance, which is what happens in the theatrical cut too. But in the original ending, she comes back into the room. She's bloodied, obviously. She's murdered her husband. She's been stabbed. She's got the knife. She sits down, leans against her bed, and there's a time lapse. She sits there for like a full 24 hours almost. And it's creepy as hell. And you don't see her husband. What the hell's going on? Then finally, nearly 24 hours later, you see these lights start coming up the stairs kind of in the hallway, because it's now after 9:30 at night. It's dark, and you hear like, hello, police is here. The police come up the stairs, and she starts to advance towards, I stand to be corrected, but I think at this moment she's not like possessed anymore, but she starts to advance towards them with a knife in her hand, and they're like, put the knife down, and they end up shooting her and killing her in the hallway. And of course you're watching this through the security camera in the bedroom, and they're like, you know, shots fired. And I forget what happens after that, but that's the original ending. That's the ending that was screened at festivals. The ending that you probably know if you're a Paranormal Activity fan, and I've seen this movie 1,000 times, is the moment when she comes back into the room, comes back into the room, and then she kind of leans over the body of her dead husband, and then she looks at the camera and goes, wow, like that, a little bit of a face kind of, you know, visual effect there. That's what Paramount wanted. That's more commercially viable, right? More, you could sell that more, supposedly. So yeah, it's crazy stuff. But I totally would have gone with the original ending. Just feels more real, you know?
Sure.
But I guess they wanted more of that payoff. Or Hollywood payoff.
Yes, Colin Murdy, I agree with you. Katie is hot. There is definitely something about her. Katie, when I compare the two sisters, Katie's the kind of girl where I'm probably going to be walking out of the bedroom with a lot of bruises. Whereas Christy, it's going to be more subtle and like Titanic shit where the hand's reaching up to the window and all that stuff. Yeah. All right. So that's how I would compare the two sisters.
All right. Fascinating analogy. Booster Seat sends in $5, says Paranormal Activity 2 opening night was insane. The entire theater was screaming, drove home scared. Then I watched it at home by myself and it was boring. You know what? Horror movies can do that, right? Well, a lot of movies can. I mean, there's nothing like watching a great horror movie in the theater with a packed theater and everybody's screaming and laughing, and it's great. It's a communal experience. It can be a lot of fun. Fast Forwards 289 sends in $4.99, says, "What's up, D&T? Just a little something for the channel, friends. Hope you're all doing well." We are. Thank you very much, Fast Forwards. Appreciate that.
It's funny you say that, because we were talking about like theater experience where the audience got really hyped up for certain scenes or whatever. And I don't remember this one that much. There's very few. Like I remember Home Alone having a huge reaction. Yeah, I remember we were talking about this at Thanksgiving when my brother was here, because we saw. Do you remember the movie with the creators of South Park, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, Basketball? Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but have you seen it? That's the question.
No.
Okay. There's a moment in the film when Trey Parker, who does the voice of Cartman for real on South Park, he does the voice of Cartman in the movie, in the theater, because this was at the peak of beginning when South Park was like huge.
That's right.
And when he does the voice of Cartman, dude, the theater went bonkers.
I bet.
When he did the voice. Yeah,
I bet.
Like the movie itself is kind of like, but when he does that moment, holy shit, yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome.
There was a couple of, like with Avengers, there was a couple of moments in Infinity War when Endgame, like when Cap picks up the Thor hammer, everybody like I'm looking around like, damn, I wish I could get into it like this. Like, cause there was like diehard comic book fans like going nuts.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, okay, well then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been in a couple of theater experiences where it's kind of been like that. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I've had it. It's cool.
But I will say, when I left the theater for the first two films, I think I liked the second one. I liked this. I enjoyed it very much. So I was like, oh, this was a really good movie. I hope they do another. Like that was kind of my reaction. And when I walked out of the theater with the second time, after seeing the second one, I was like, yeah, that was really good. Like I enjoyed it. There's been a very few handful of horror movies that I've been able to watch as an adult since you and I have been old enough to go to the theaters, where I've walked out going, damn, that was good. This is definitely one of them. The Conjuring was definitely, Insidious was another one.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean.
God, this movie looks like 2006.
Well, it looks it looks like it's shot on. Don't know what that is. I got to get a closer look. But yeah, I mean, listen, these kinds of movies, this is almost akin to found footage. Essentially, it is. And I've always said that the found footage subgenre it gets a bad rap. And the reason why it gets a bad rap is because after the Blair Witch Project, there were found footage movies before the Blair Witch Project, by the way, but the Blair Witch Project sort of, took it to a new level.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the king of found footage, or queen, however you want to do it.
That's true. Or something else. Ever since then, I think a found footage movie can be incredibly scary and feel so real if it's done in the right ways. The problem is that the subgenre was it exploded so quickly. It went from 0 to 100 so fast. There was really no time for it to just kind of breathe and grow and allow some of the more legit, scary found footage kind of movies that feel real, like you're actually watching a documentary or you're watching. Yeah. And that's what this is. It's a trick, right? And sometimes the trick in creating a realistic looking found footage movie like this, or whatever the case is to have actors that are not necessarily polished actors, but they're believable. Some of the dialogue is a lot of the dialogue maybe is ad-libbed a little bit. You kind of have what you are going to say, like, okay, we start the conversation here and we know we have to end the conversation here, but how we get from A to B, we can have some fun with it. We can play along. So it feels like real people having real conversations, as opposed to very sort of calculated dialogue that can still sound conversational. I mean, if you're, Hollywood films still sound conversational, but, less polished, more like real people, right? And of course, it's always important to create that vibe when you cast, non-actors quote unquote. I mean, sometimes they are actors and they do have experience.
Yeah, like these two, Mika and Katie, I believe that they're a couple. They even if they're not in real life, which I don't think they are.
Right.
They did a really good job of selling and me believing that they are a couple.
Of course.
And that's not easy to do because we've watched enough movies and like, okay, yeah, they don't look like they're a couple. But these two, legitimately, I buy it. Right. I totally buy it.
And the trick to any good paranormal movie, to create, whether it's a studio film that is a, live action, not a found footage movie, it's just it's a normal movie for all intents and purposes, or whether it's this kind of a film, the trick, and I know, especially, but let's talk about, especially in a found footage kind of film like this, the trick is slow burn. And because what this is all about here is creating a sense of normalcy. So you're seeing them in their day-to-day lives. They feel like real people. They're doing real things. They're swimming in the pool. He's working on the computer. Maybe you see him cooking, breakfast, and you see their faults. You see them walking around in their boxer shorts and their bare feet. Yeah. You see them, unshaven. You see his hair all messy. And that's important. You don't necessarily think of this consciously, but when you're watching a movie like this that is a window into people's lives, that's to create the sense of realism. That's what you want. You don't want them to be pretty. You don't want them to be always, waking up in the morning with makeup on. You know what I mean? Or they go to bed they look like, they're all dolled up to go to some, dinner or something. It feels like real people. And that's how you got to play it. And that's one of the most important things is establish the setting, establish the relationship, establish the couple, and let us see them doing real, everyday, mundane things, you know what I mean, that people do, and silly conversations, inside jokes, teasing each other. It creates this illusion that this is real. And of course, you're walking around behind her and and all that kind of stuff. And it's friend. Oh yeah, not the friend, but this guy pops over and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And it's important. You don't want to, in this kind of a film, you don't want to show the paranormal shit in the first 10 minutes of the movie. You want to build into it.
The only thing you got so far was just you heard some footsteps going up the stairs when they were sleeping in the bed at night. Mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's all we've heard so far.
Well, take a look at the more polished film like the live action, The Conjuring. And what Juan does there, he does the same thing. It's just in a more cinematic movie sense, right? Where you're watching a movie, but he establishes the relationship with the family. We get to know the family, and little bits and bobs of paranormal stuff begin to happen. But The Conjuring is a hell of a slow burn, and it feels it's great. It feels more real. The Exorcist is the same way. That's how you got to play that shit. You'll notice that if you have a movie if you have a movie that's like this and it's so successful that it spawns a franchise, you'll notice that the window for which the length of time it takes to get to the juicy stuff gets shorter and shorter and shorter. So you'll notice in like the in part 5 they're into like the paranormal shit in the first 10 minutes or something, because it's like it's just the downfall of having sequels. Couple more super chats came in. Let me see here. We got Flick Symmetry sends in $4.99. Thanks, buddy. Says, hey guys, I do remember being disappointed a little with some of these trailers as they contained a lot more edited footage than usual. I don't remember the trailers for this movie, but
it
happens.
I don't really remember the trailers either at the time. I know I could go on YouTube and watch it. I just knew the movie. I knew the first one was out. I went and saw it. And then I knew the second one was coming out and I went and saw that. I to be honest with you, I don't think I even saw the trailers. If I did, I saw them on the television. You know what I mean? I wasn't looking them up online or anything like that.
Same. Gary Rangel sends in $2, says, y'all seen Unfriended 2? Have we seen Unfriended 2? He says it's not as good as the first. I have not seen Unfriended 2.
That's a shame because
No, you saw Unfriended too, right?
I've seen Unfriended 1. I love that movie. That was a surprise. Like, wow, this is really good.
Good.
And we were talking about this the other day. Would we count Unfriended in the found footage category? It's definitely in the supernatural category.
Yes.
Because when I was doing my ranking the other day, I put that like at number 5. Like my top 5 were The Conjuring, Poltergeist, Paranormal 1 and 2 because I count them as one.
Yeah.
Amityville, the original, and then Unfriended.
Right.
And they're like, no, Unfriended is not. I'm like, no, Unfriended is. First of all, Laura Barnes is the ghost haunting them.
The first Amityville movie is not a found footage movie.
No, horror. Haunting.
Oh, Hauntings was your list.
Haunting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Haunting.
No, look, I mean, found footage, I think some people take it literally, and you can, where it's a movie about footage that has been found, and you're just seeing it, and nobody knows what happened to the people. Sure, but I think found footage has largely expanded to mean anything, at least in my eyes, anything that is supposed to be real. It's footage that is not. Obviously, it's not real, but it's a movie that is designed to look like a documentary,
right?
Like that kind of thing, right? And sometimes you can have, sometimes you're watching something where the narrative, the shtick is that this is footage that was found, you know what I mean? And then other times it's just presented as is. But even the Blair Witch Blair Witch Project was found footage. They literally found that footage, but they released it as a documentary. You know what I mean? So I think it's anything. Yes, and I think Unfriended would be it's being presented as if this is real. This is a Skype call that's happening. These are not actors. And the way it's executed, the way it is delivered, the way that they craft the film and deliver the film, they do an excellent job at creating the impression that you've just walked into a Skype conversation. It feels real and natural. They're talking over each other. There's no, it feels legit. So yeah, I absolutely would include that in there for sure.
Well, and that's the case, then if I were to rank my favorite found footage, then it would be Blair Witch, Paranormal 1 and 2, and then 3 spot would be Unfriended. So if we are definitely saying that because if that's what I thought, I was thinking the same way you were thinking, like this is not set up to be filmed like a movie. They're Skyping with each other and it's put together like a documentary, like the Blair Witch, like this, so.
Right.
I'd love to see a found footage slasher. I'd love to see someone attempt a really good found footage. What happened?
No, just obviously somebody was, being a dink in the chat, and Frank put a stop to it. Thank you, Frank.
What was going on? What did I miss?
Oh no, just somebody was just, I don't know, just being. Just trying to understand.
Oh, someone was spoiling Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, just being sort of.
God, talk about a movie that looks like garbage. I am so disappointed. I had high hopes for that Chainsaw sequel. I had high hopes.
Pumpkin Cake. I've never seen Pumpkin Cake in here. It's probably somebody who's in here all the time and is just under another name. That's usually how it works.
Fruitcake?
Yeah, it might be. It's not normal Pumpkin Cake to be having comments deleted every 5 seconds. So I don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is you're doing, you might want to kind of roll it back a bit. Just saying. Just saying.
Smoke a blunt.
Yeah, that's it. But yes, thank you, Frank, for taking care of that, and to Darren as well. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Do you think you could try not to be?
Anyways, back to the movie.
Paranormal Activity. Paranormal.
What kind of camera is he using? I could never figure that out.
I was talking about that earlier. It might be mini DV. It might be like it's HD, but it might be mini DV. Those little tapes. It probably is that. It might be a Canon. Canon. What was the Canon AH1 or Canon? Yeah, I mean, it might be.
It definitely looks like a Canon for sure. It's not Panasonic. I could totally tell if it was Panasonic.
Yeah, I think it's. I might have
maybe one of the earlier Canon HDs, because you're talking 2006. They probably filmed this 2005, 2006. So you could be talking about one of the early HD Canon cameras.
I'll tell you here in a sec. Yeah, they use Sony Vegas to edit. That's right. Sony. It was the Sony HDR. It was Sony actually. Oh, the cameras were the Sony HDR FX1 camera. So really, captures DV. Yep, DV. Yep, I was right. Digital. Well, it's not mini DV though. Oh, okay. They use that. Is it tapes? Yeah, or is it? Or maybe it is a card. I thought it was mini DV. Maybe it's a card. Because at that time they were that kind of technology was on the scene. But mini DV was still a big thing at that time too.
Sure.
Nonetheless.
All right, next scare.
Scare.
Of course, you know what's coming because you hear the humming sound or whatever.
That's right.
And here we go. I hear it in the background. Oh, the door. That's right.
The door. Yeah.
Subtle. It's not over the top. It's a subtle scare, you know.
Well, like, but it's slowly, you know, and it's in line of what Poltergeist is, right? Usually, Poltergeist is is it German or is it? Anyways, it's a word that essentially means like noisy ghost or noisy spirit, and Poltergeists generally, you know, it starts as doors opening and things moving and very subtle, and then eventually it works its way up to like, you know, people being tossed around a room.
Pretty much.
So, yeah, it can get kind of crazy. See, that's right. That's it. And then they go to look at the footage. Paranormal Activity. Good. I can feel your activity. No, Activia. The door is fucking moving by itself. Holy shit. So they're talking about here.
See, if that happened though in my house, and then if it went forward, I wouldn't be too scared. It's the going back part. That's like, wait, okay, what the fuck? Because going forward could be like a wind. You know what I mean? The wind blowing,
right.
Move slightly. You know, cat came in the way and moved it slightly.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But the fact that it goes back, I'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. But again, like, I mean, you know, it's a slow burn, and the film's only 86 minutes long. I mean, it's not a
fast movie.
Yeah, but it, again, you know, it's a slow. They're building to it, right? I mean, it's like the Blair Witch Project in that sense too. I mean, not a lot happens in the Blair Witch Project either, but it's about getting into it's about setting the stage. You know, if it feels real, if it looks real, if I believe the camaraderie and the performances between the actors is real, and I buy into them being that they're not actors. And it's also important too when you're doing a found footage movie, if you can, not that, you know, there have been too many found footage movies with A-list stars, but of course it's always much more believable if it's literally nobody, you know, people who look like, you know, normal people, regular people who live next door to you. You know, it's not Brad Pitt and, you know, Sigourney Weaver in a found footage movie. I mean, it's, you know, unless they're playing Brad Pitt and Sigourney Weaver in the found footage movie, and Brad Pitt at his mansion has got Paranormal Activity. I mean, maybe, you know, you might be able to do that. That might be actually kind of creepy. But certainly, yeah, you know, it's fun. I find them, if they're done really well and it's executed really well, they can be fun to watch and creepy to watch, because you as you're watching it, you forget, not literally forget, but you buy into it, you get invested, and you forget that, oh yeah, this is not real. You know what I mean? Because it feels real.
Couple that I watched during the pandemic last year that were new on the newer side, like Host. That's a fast film. That's only like 55 minutes long.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it, but that's what I hear.
That was pretty decent. Hell House was another one that I watched. That was
I gotta see that.
That was pretty good. The sequels, it starts to fall apart like typically sequels do, but the first one was decent.
Right.
And then there was that movie, not It Followed, but it's just called Followed.
Okay.
It's a creative way to tap into the vlogging YouTube tie-in, going to haunted places and doing all that stuff.
Right.
I thought it was creative. I didn't think it was like great, but it was enjoyable to watch.
Gotcha.
I don't need another one. But yeah, you're right. If they do it right and not over sensationalize it, and you believe the people that you're watching on the screen are the people, movies like this are enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, for sure. Scott Malarano sends in $9.99. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Says, I went into this movie not seeing any trailers, so I didn't have any expectations. Loved it very much, and you could feel the fear of everyone around you. That's how effective it was. Yeah, well, like I said, these types of movies can do that. The Blair Witch Project did that. I remember seeing that movie in the theater in 99. When it's done right and it's done well, it can be very effective, especially when you're watching it, in a big theater with a lot of people, right? For sure. I agree with that.
I remember one dude at the end of the Blair Witch Project when it ended, when we saw it in the theater, I don't know who the guy was. He was sitting like diagonally this way, and Mike's standing in the corner, and the camera drops and it cuts out. He's like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
I was like dying laughing.
I know.
Because I mean, some people, they just don't, they're not connecting with the movie to understand what's going on, and it just, when it abruptly ends like that, I can see it being like, what the fuck?
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of people, there's people that like things
explained thoroughly.
Like, that's true.
Where does Michael get up and go to after he gets shot? He went to go get some donuts.
I don't know. He went to go.
He had to fuel up, get that carb in there.
Well, that's it, right?
He was busy. He was working all night.
He was busy, for God's sakes. He's Michael Myers. He needs to go take a shit.
Now, is this where they start upping the scare? I can't remember.
I don't know, dude. I haven't seen this in 10 years, so I'm kind of.
I just saw this a month ago.
Feels like I'm watching for the first time. Yeah.
No, that's right. She feels like something's on her. That's right.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Conveniently close to the witching hour, which is 3 a.m.
That is correct.
If you believe in the witching hour.
Mm-hmm. 3:33, 33. Ooh. Yeah.
Leave her in there, Mika. Just leave her.
Yeah, do it. Do it. Just leave her there. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Mika, if I were you, boy, just pack your bags and go.
If this kind of a movie had come out in the 70s.
Oh, are you kidding? Well, how would you do that? I mean, the old school filming? Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to do it, and it likely wouldn't have had audio, right? So
you could have done it in the 80s with the VHS old camcorders, for sure. And if something like this did come out in the 80s, a lot of people would have been arguing whether or not it was real or not. Because this is pre-internet, having basically everything at your disposal.
You remember 1999? There were
everybody thought the Blair Witch was real. Yes.
A lot of people thought the Blair Witch Project was real. It was one of the first movies of its kind to be marketed on the internet in that way. And, they didn't not say it wasn't real, but they didn't say it was, like, they just really presented it as if it was what it was. And I remember my mother rented it and watched it, and I told her it wasn't real, and then she was like, I wasn't. I said, no, it wasn't.
Are you sure, Dave? Are you sure?
Yeah, she was really disappointed after that.
Like, no, Mom, it's not. Like, are you sure? Like,
yeah.
I'm telling you,
it
it's
was
not real.
By everybody. No, I knew it wasn't real, but there, a lot of people thought it was. And when you watch that movie, again, the performances and the way it's executed and how it's shot, and it's very candid and handheld and messy, and, you know, it's not polished, right? It's how home movies would look. So yeah, it can be very effective when done right. Like, you know, right now the camera's bipping and bopping around, her head's cut off. You know, it's not framed how you would frame the shot if you were shooting a movie. This looks like somebody who doesn't know a thing about shooting with a camera is holding the camera. And that's
which makes it more effective. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
That's exactly it. How's the chat room doing tonight, guys? How are you guys in the chat room tonight? You guys doing well? Paranormal Activity? You guys Paranormal Activity fans? Anybody in the chat see the latest one, the Next of Kin one? I haven't seen it. But anybody in the chat see Next of Kin? Do you think they'll do another one?
Probably.
Yeah. Rush, is that, I don't have my glasses on, Jesus. Says, I prefer the sequel. Yeah, I think I do too, actually. I haven't seen the sequel in a while either, but yeah. I think I might like the sequel, but I'm not sure. See what they say. See what the chat room says about Paranormal Activity. Destiny Faulkner says, Daisy Part 3.
Part 3.
Daisy.
Like Paranormal Part 3? Or
Maybe.
Part 3?
I don't know. Badass Domain says, Next of Kin was great. Colin Murdy says, haven't seen the latest one. Guess it depends on what you're looking for, right? Everybody has their standards and what they want. I mean, there are people that think Halloween 5 is great, believe it or not. I've had messages. I've had messages from people, long diatribes from people who are angry at me and just so angry with me that I do not like Halloween 5, and they go on.
You have destroyed their existence, Dave.
Yes. I'm telling you, I've received them. Message people saying, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. Halloween 5 is great, and here's why. And I'm like, that's okay. If you think it's great, all the power to you. That's great.
Absolutely.
I think it's a pile of crap. It's amazing how many people get really angry when you don't. When people get so angry when you don't like what they like.
The first Scream.
The Scream. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. That was good. I remember being in the theater like. That's the when I saw that for the first time, that got me on a jump scare. That's the kind of jump scares that I like. I hate the sound design jump scares.
Right.
I hate those things because it's not really a true jump scare.
Right.
It's basically shocking your body because you're hearing this loud noise, which is ultimately the sound design, like what Blair Witch, the newer Blair Witch, relied on for. I think had Blair Witch had dialed back on the sound design, it would have been a little bit more of a better movie. I liked the Blair Witch sequel, not part 2 sequel, but the sequel to the one that came out a few years ago.
Yeah.
But oh my God, man, it was just like overkill on that typical like jump scare sound where like this.
Right.
Very subtle. You hear the scream, you hear the loud thud. And I just remember when I saw this in theaters, I was like, oh shit. Like, but it was a genuine jump scare. You know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't me jumping because my body was reacting to a loud noise.
Right. Yeah. The classic jump scare in Hollywood is the sound you hear, and there's many different ways you can create the sound. But it's known as it's what's known as a stinger. And so it's like a piece, right, whatever, right? And we used one in It's Me, Billy, and they can be effective. The problem is that when you watch a movie that is nothing but jump scares, and that's all it is. So every 5 minutes, it's boom, boom, boom.
It becomes annoying.
Oh my gosh! Or every 5 minutes it's false jump scares. You know, it's the mother's hand, it's the girlfriend at the door, it's the, you know, and it's like, Jesus Christ, how many false jump scares can there possibly be? That's just lazy writing. That's just, you know, but to have one is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Or even you might be able to slip in two in there maybe. But Tony's right. At the end of the day, if you can create fear and, oh, that's creepy, beyond
a genuine jump scare. Right. A genuine scare. Like, I like that shit. And I remember when beyond I saw this for the first time, I was like, oh, that was fucking good.
Yes. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with having it in there, but you can't rely on it. You know, have something that you can create beyond the stinger, you know, something that is, that's more than just that, because then it makes the stinger cool. Like, you know, you watch the movie and you're like, oh, that's a cool moment, right? It doesn't become the whole movie, you know? So yeah, I agree with that. Oh, Jim Dorsey sends in $9.99. Thank you, Jim. Says, I saw Blair Witch in a small college on opening night before it premiered in a theater full of people before the movie got big.
Nice.
And we all thought it was real. That was a fun experience. Oh, I bet. Yeah, I worked at a movie theater when it came out. It was my summer job. I was 20 years old when it came out. And it was my summer job working at a movie theater. And I remember people, I think I've told this before, but I remember people, you know, there was this, like with The Exorcist, although this is a bit different. Blair Witch, I think, was shot on 16 mil, if I'm not mistaken. So
I think you're right.
When you blow 16 mil up to a screen that's 30 feet in length, you know, it's a huge screen, and the camera work is shaky, it can cause motion sickness. And, you know, people were throwing up. There was, you know, it was on the news. It's so scary. People are puking. It's like, no, that's not why people are puking. People are puking because of the motion sickness. And I know this, having worked in the theater, because I had to go into the movie theater. And before the movie began, not one word of a lie, I took little popcorn bags, like kid-sized popcorn bags. I'm not making this up. And I went into the theater, like 10 minutes before the movie began, and I said, hey, everybody, welcome to Cineplex Theaters. My name's Dave, you know, whatever. My name's Dave McRae. I probably didn't say that. That's just out of habit here. But I, you know, would welcome to the theater, and I said, I just want to ask, before the movie begins, does anybody here suffer from motion sickness? The reason I'm asking is because, and I, you know, projecting the screen, there's a lot of shaking and this and that, and you might feel that, and people have felt nauseous and they've excused themselves to go to the bathroom. Some people have made it to the bathroom, others haven't. I remember walking by the Blair Witch Theater, girl comes out, it was quiet, this girl exits the theater and she's like, right in front of me on the carpet. I'm like, there's another one. And I kid you not, about half the theater would put up their hands like this, like, could I have a popcorn bag? It was, and I hand them out. My boss didn't tell me to do that. I just was like, I can't stand another person coming out of that theater barfing on the carpet. So I'm gonna take these popcorn bags from behind concessions and just hand them out. Nobody told me to do it. I just was like, let's fucking do it. So I did that. But anyway, that's why people were throwing up at the. It wasn't because it's so scary. No, it's because you're watching. It's like you're on a ride. It's crazy.
No.
Anyway.
It's not like when people were throwing up and passing out from The Exorcist. That was genuine.
That's different. That was very psychological.
Yeah, nobody had seen anything like that at that time when that came out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, exactly. This is when she stands up.
Yes.
Let me tell you, if I was ever dating someone and I saw this on a playback video, I'd be like, we are so done.
That's it.
You're going to stand there and just stare at me for hours contemplating what? We are done. Yeah, that's all she does. She turns around and she stares at him.
Wouldn't that be so creepy just seeing that?
It is. It's extremely creepy.
Like, I mean, it is. It's
and if she's watching us tonight, I'm sure she's probably gonna be like, okay, now I know what to do to fuck with him.
Who? Who?
We'll
you're telling me. Okay.
Off screen. I got a feeling
she's watching this.
There's someone watching us, and I'm probably confident that she's taking notes on that now.
Oh, really? Well, shout out to whoever this individual is. You have my permission to do it, by the way.
Yeah, well, you know, because I make it a habit of, you know, throwing on the Michael mask and standing in like some of the darkest areas possible.
You have a habit of throwing on.
I'll stand there for like, you know, good 30 minutes just waiting until she like, you know, till they.
Dude, I love that you put on your Michael Myers mask to bust out the kettlebells in your driveway. That's good shit. Follow Tony Michael on Instagram. It's below his image there, and you'll get to see
blows.
him. No, I said it's below. No, I said
it's like, wow, like that's a deep cut.
No, I said
well, Tony on Instagram, it blows.
No, I said the link is below I was trying to say the link is below his image there. Yeah, follow Tony and I on Instagram. We suck, so whatever.
Yeah, we suck.
Yeah, we do. We suck.
Dave, what?
Jesus, man, you sounded like Cartman there for a second.
Yeah, that's the way it is, man.
Cartman,
that was more on that was more on the Kenny or Kyle side, or not Kyle.
Cartman's
Kyler's,
what is he?
Kyler's.
I don't know if this was.
Yeah, I know where he is. Yeah, in the red.
Cartman has like kind of a slur, whereas Kyle, you sounded a little bit more like. I
just don't know what you mean, man. What's going on? It's something like this.
It's like kind of in that
something
range.
Something like that.
Somewhere in there.
You're definitely more in the Stan and Kyle range, that's for sure. You've definitely got that down easily.
Well, it's funny. I actually, can I say this? Or did I sign an NDA? I can't remember.
Be careful. You better be careful because if you signed an NDA, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah, in voiceover, I can't remember because I've signed a few NDAs this year, and I can't remember if I'm just good. You know what? If I can't remember, you play it like you did. So, sorry, folks, I can't say. Sorry about that. Can you imagine walking out and seeing her like just lying there? It's like, what the fuck?
Well, and the thing that I like about her performance and how they executed her possession, is probably the most realistic. When I think of someone going through something like a possession, as great as The Exorcist is,
her possession's a slow burn.
Who, Reagan's?
No, Katie. Yeah.
It's a slow burn, but I think it's more realistic to what would probably really happen.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in The Exorcist, I think it's a little over the top. Right. I don't think something like that would happen to someone like so far over.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think what would probably happen is like ultimately what you see happen to Katie throughout this film with marks on her body and her sitting outside because she's not feeling well.
Right.
Things that, I mean, I've heard stories about people being contorted and whatnot and their body being all whatever, but a lot of those stories are stories. They're hearsay stories. Nothing's really ever been like, I'm about texture. I need to feel it. I need to see it to believe it. So when I watch how they start to begin the process here of her becoming possessed by this entity. To me, I think that's what would probably look more realistic. And then, there she is just standing there.
Like,
what the fuck?
J Beach timestamp is 41 minutes and 45 seconds. Katie's just in bed and Micah, whatever, he's, shooting her with the camera, and now he's going out and he's looking down the stairs. Now he's back at her. TV's snow, poltergeist TV. Oh, they're here. They're back. You don't remember?
You don't remember acting like a fucking creepo and standing and staring at me? Weirdo.
Yeah, it's creepy stuff. It's creepy stuff, man. It's creepy stuff. Paranormal Activity, next of kin. But Paranormal Activity, the series moved away from found footage, though, right?
Well, the new one, the next of kin, that's more of a movie.
Yeah, it's not found footage, right?
No,
okay.
Well,
is some of it found footage, or is it all found footage, or half and half, or
it's more polished. That's the best way I can describe it.
I gotcha. So it just looks more. It's found footage, but it looks more polished.
More polished, exactly.
Okay. The less polished, the better.
Yeah, like this.
Yep. Folks, shoot a Paranormal Activity movie on your phone. You could do it right now. It'd be higher resolution than this image. So, I mean,
it's true.
These phones shoot 8K now. I think my phone shoots 8K, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was just checking that on my iPhone 13 the other day, the settings. I think I can go up to 6.
The iPhone 13. I have the Galaxy S21 Ultra.
It's a good phone. I like it.
No, it only goes up to 4.
Oh, okay. Maybe mine only.
But 4K at 60, I can get 4K 60 frames per second.
That's ridiculous.
This,
well,
cool.
Who the hell needs 8K for Christ's sakes?
No, I know.
Even 1080p is fine. There's a lot of YouTube videos you watch that are 720p and they're fine because everybody's watching it on their phones. The only time a high resolution image like 4K really gets the benefit is if you're fucking watching it on a 30-foot screen. The higher the resolution, you know, the better the image is going to look on a gigantic screen.
I will say that is a badass fucking Ouija board. I'm sure it was probably made for the movie because I have never, ever have seen one like that out there.
Really?
I've only seen it in this, but that is I mean, that's like, if you got that type of Ouija board, you're into some serious fucking dark shit. And I don't even know if I would personally fuck with something like that. One, because it's got like the Satan star that's in cool. The center of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you're getting into some real, like, I'm okay with Ouija boards, but there's just some Ouija boards when I see it, I'm like, yeah, I'm not fucking with that. Like, just not fucking with it.
Right. I got you. Ouija board.
I have to agree with you, Katie. It is the best Ouija board that I've ever seen. I agree with that statement.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Now, what are these? What have they gone on to do? Have Katie and Micah gone on to do anything?
I mean, I know they're in the second one.
They are in the second one, but not as main stars, though, right? Are they main stars? No.
Katie's a little more.
Does Katie die in the second one? She does, right? Does she die in the second one? I can't remember.
I forgot about this with the footsteps leading up to what happens here.
Okay, so she was in 2. No, she was in 2. It says she was in 3, which of course is a prequel. She was in 4 and the marked ones as cameos.
Yeah, she's in. So
she's in them all.
The marked ones. Ugh, that's so stupid. How they.
I'm just reading it on Wikipedia, but she hasn't really done anything outside of the Paranormal series, which tells me that she's likely, you know, probably does something else with her life and then just, you know, says she's an actress, but doesn't. Well, I don't know.
A bloody
Anthony, I think the Ouija board is practical. I don't think that's a CGI Ouija. I don't think they did any CGI.
No,
in this movie.
No, the only visual effects would
be Katie at the end, right?
Yeah, and Micah flying at the camera,
right?
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But the Ouija board that's real. I just think it was. Yeah, I think it was made specifically for the film.
It might have been. I don't know. But definitely, yeah.
But I have a Ouija board in my room. It's a smaller one. It's a cool looking one, but not like this. No, I ain't fucking with that.
But you can get Ouija boards that look like that. Like if you can get.
I've never not like that Ouija where boards. It's got like the fire depths of hell on it and Satan's fucking star. No, I don't have that, and I don't think I would want that.
I would.
Fuck that. Nope.
I'm buying it and I'm hanging it over my bed. Anthony Bizzuto sends in $1.99.
I don't think your girl would appreciate that too much.
Well, I'm just saying.
Your girl's gonna look at you like, Dave, no.
Well, maybe she's into it. Maybe I'll send her a message and be like, would you?
What do you think? No.
So if I put a Ouija board hanging over the bed, would you be into that or?
I got one. It's actually next to my bed. It's a smaller one. But it's a decor piece. It's intended to be like that.
Do you ever roll over in the middle of the night and just kind of use it?
No, but I have it right next to a skull because I have skulls in my room as well too.
Okay, cool. Are they real skulls from the people that you've killed, or just?
They look real. They really do. The person did a great job making them. Yeah, I know. I'm fucked up.
No, it's great.
If you walk into my house, you'd be like, dude, you are dark. Yeah,
hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. You look in my freezer.
What he meant? He asked when it was lit on fire. Was that practical? Oh, that's a good question. Do you think the fire was practical or CGI?
Has it happened yet, or did I?
Yeah, you missed it.
I missed it.
going along. I was trying to point that out.
I was
to
looking
you.
up at the, I don't know. I'm not sure. It probably was practical. Yeah. 100%.
2006. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. When you have a $15,000 budget, absolutely.
Yeah.
I used to have a t-shirt that looked like that around that time.
Yeah, that was very popular for us to wear back then.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
I see them from time to time on people. Not often, but once in a while, I'll see someone rocking a shirt like that. I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that forever.
Mm-hmm. AK Channel TV sends in $1.99, says, will you do a watch along for the extended of H Kills?
Absolutely. We're going to watch H Kills
Probably
when
not.
it comes out here in a couple of weeks. We're going to watch it for a year straight.
No. I don't think, well, there's no need to, because I can tell you right now, the extended cut is just, it's the extended ending with the scene added in with Nick Castle in the bathroom with the drone pilot family there. That's been added back in, but it's not like an extra 30 minutes of footage or something. There'd be no point. There'd be no point. You just watch the ending, and it'll end up on YouTube anyway. So
we'll probably watch it again next year when it gets closer to ends coming out.
yeah, it's really not a good movie in my opinion. But
it's a fucking great movie in my opinion.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, people really. I know I've mentioned this before, but I'm never going to make that mistake again. People, well, coming out on social media and saying what I liked about the film and you know what I mean? And then people, when I started to talk about it in sort of not a negative way, but when I started to talk about my thoughts on it, you know, on as a whole, you know, people were accusing me of backpedaling and that, you know, now you're lying. You said you loved it. I'm like, I never said it, but it's because after the movie was done, I chose to make a tweet that was about, you know, about how I liked some of the look and the flashback. And I thought they did really well, the mood and that, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I think people took it to mean that I loved Halloween Kills and I didn't. I thought it was, I enjoyed watching it because I had no expectations. So I just had fun like a ride. But I don't like it as much as I like 18, and I don't particularly like 18 all that much.
Did you find the board online, by the way? You said you were going to look it up.
Oh, I just meant in general I was going to look at it, but let me see if I can find it.
Nah, I can't fuck with that board. Like I said, I don't mind Ouija boards, but that specific one, I'm good. Fuck that. Nope.
So
that's the kind of Ouija board where I'm probably going to be sleeping in the middle of the night and my significant other is next to me and my ass is going to get dragged off the fucking bed while she's just like, it's supposed to be you.
I mean, no, I did a quick Google search. I haven't found that exact one, but there's a lot of boards on here that are pretty fucking creepy.
I've seen a few. I've seen a few that I've been tempted to get because I do like the Ouija board. I think it's cool looking, but there's just
Star and
yeah. See that one? I'm like, no, I'm good on that.
There's quite a few on there that have it.
But there's some that I've seen on Etsy. Some guys who have done like who will hand make it out of like wood and shit.
Yeah.
Some really creative designs. But when they start getting into the satanic star shit, and I'm like, I'm not gonna mess with that. No, I'm good.
The pentacle or the four side.
I'm good.
5-sided. Yeah. It's creepy stuff. It's creepy stuff, no doubt about it. Booster Seed sends in $2, says the extended cut of H Kills is a whole new film.
Right.
It's a whole new film, completely new.
Whole new movie.
No, I am looking forward though to seeing Nick Castle's cameo because I was disappointed when I remember when because I had reached out to one of my contacts and I had said, was Nick in there? Because I was under the impression that, and they said, no, it got cut. So that's when I made that tweet about it. And I said it was he was to appear, what you're going to see is, well, it's out there now, but is you're going to get a POV shot through the drone and the drone's going to fly into the bathroom and then the light's going to turn on or whatever, or maybe it's going to go into like night vision mode or something. I don't know. And you're going to see Nick Castle standing there as the shape. So that's
you know what I just noticed though. I mean, then again, they're based in San Diego, so maybe there's a reason behind it. But I just noticed they don't really have blankets; they're only sleeping with sheets. I just noticed that. But if they're based in San Diego, that would make sense because it's Southern California, and it gets hot there.
Yeah,
so this is when the footprints come, right?
Yeah,
because he did the baby powder. I thought this effect, how they did it, was very well done because I think we see the shadow on the door also of the entity, and then it runs out.
Yeah, there could be two reasons why they decided to just use sheets. One could be narratively, one could be practically. So the narrative would be that they live in a hot climate, right? And therefore they don't have a quilt or a comforter or a duvet or whatever. The practicality of it could very well have been, hey, when we throw a big blanket on you, we can't see you. And we can't see the bodies.
True. That's a good point.
So, just so we can see them and we can see the shapes of their bodies in the bed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's just go with kind of a sheet.
Yeah, I like
sheets. Yeah,
I like my blankets.
Yeah, I do too.
Blankets.
Yeah, especially this time of year.
I got a sheet. I got a kind of a thin layer blanket. Then I got a down feather blanket.
Wow.
Then I got another blanket, and then I got another blanket on top of that.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, again, very subtle, but really well done. Really well done. Mark Chase sends in $4.99, says, "Hey Dave, any thoughts on the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie and the franchise as a whole?" Well, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre teaser didn't really do anything to excite me. I just think it looks like shit we've seen.
I have a few choice
before.
words for it, but we can no longer say those words in public.
Right. I just think it looked
stupid. I can say that.
I don't know. It just looked like the shit we've seen before. It just didn't. It didn't look gritty enough to me.
That's what I was saying. They're the ones telling us that they're going to bring it back to the origins. They're going to bring it back to like the original aesthetic looks of the first Chainsaw movie. And I'm watching this like, this is nothing like the original aesthetic look. The original aesthetic look needs to be very simple. It needs to look cheaply made, crappy, and very fucking gritty. That's it.
Yeah, there's a shot in the new TCM teaser where all the shots are very quick. They're edited very fast. But there's a shot where I think you see like a staircase or something, and there's this warm sort of tungsten color on the stairs.
Filter or whatever.
Right, but then towards closer to the lens of the camera, there's like this very rich blue. It looked very much like a lock. That particular shot. I don't know if the rest of the movie's like that, but that particular shot, which was very fast, reminded me of something like you'd see in like Lock and Key on Netflix or something. It looked very sort of just polished, very kind of. I think Texas Chainsaw 03 still is the quintessential remake of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And
after the first film, I agree.
That doesn't mean that this new movie is not going to be great. Who knows? Maybe it'll be great. But the teaser didn't do anything for him. I'm just like, okay, I've seen this 1,000 times. I just don't care.
See, and that's the other thing. Like Evil Alex says, if the leaks are true, this new Chainsaw Massacre is going to be very political. And I've read that, and I'm like, if that's the case, I'm just gonna be beyond fucking pissed off. Because I'm just tired of fucking politics being brought into my fucking movies that I want to just sit back and enjoy to watch. I mean, it's not that hard. I said this the other day on Instagram. To make a good Chainsaw movie, all you need is a good sound guy, a good camera that can give you a high aperture so you can shoot most of the film in natural lighting, and that's it. I mean, you're off and running to the races, and it's a fucking group of people who end up in the middle of nowhere, Texas. And
have they ever done a found?
That shit happens to them.
Have they ever done a found footage Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie?
No, but I would love to do
that. Would be interesting
in black and white. Yeah.
Oh well, maybe, but I just think like imagine the grittiness of a Blair Witch Project, but it's a Texas.
That's
Chainsaw
what I was
Massacre
thinking, like the 16 millimeter that they used, the black and white 16.
But it's found footage. It's found footage.
That'd be creepy.
And they're out there.
So you're setting it in modern times?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I really haven't thought that far ahead, but I just think that might be interesting. But yeah, look, I mean, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre teaser, I mean, yeah, it just didn't do much for me.
Yeah,
So,
same. And I'm disappointed because that's one of my top 6 favorite horror movies of all time. And it's just like you said, with that franchise, it's been shitty movie after shitty movie after shitty movie, with the exception of the Jessica Biel movie. I do like the Jordana Brewster Texas Chainsaw, the beginning. I liked that one. It was all right. It was, I can get through it and it's okay. But the one where he becomes the hero at the end and he saves Alexandria Daddario or whatever her name is, that's fucking junk. Except for the opening. The opening is fucking great on that because they pick up from literally where the original left off.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, you need to stay here. Don't go to the future. Stay in this world.
Yeah.
But they didn't. And the Leatherface movie where the origin kid story, that was fucking garbage. Mm-hmm. It's not that fucking hard to make a Chainsaw Massacre movie. Like, and I don't understand why. Well, no, I do understand why, but
well, I just don't think he's that interesting. Whatever. I think, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
He could be if done right. He
could be. I don't know about the longevity of him, but I mean, it's just a, Leatherface. Now we're watching Old Man Leatherface. Okay, well, that's cool. I mean, I just did Old Man Billy. We've got Old Man Myers. I mean, this is old man stuff now coming about. Okay, fine. I think that might be interesting. But the movie doesn't look as, I don't know. And who knows? Maybe it'll be great. I mean, listen, I thought the I Know What You Did Last Summer trailer for the new show on Amazon Prime looked like crap. I thought the posters looked like ass. Now, I haven't watched it, but by all accounts from those who have, apparently it's phenomenal. Apparently the I Know What You Did Last Summer TV show on Amazon Prime is fan-fucking-tastic. And I'm like, wow, okay, it's getting great reviews, like all around, from even people you would be surprised that would say it's great. So, who knows? You never know. But the Texas Chainsaw, the teaser didn't do much for me. Maybe the official trailer will, but the teaser didn't do much for me.
I have some ideas that I would like to do. I like to do some short scenes because I live in an area where I'm fortunate enough to be able to get the aesthetic looks of a Chainsaw Massacre, movie. Mm-hmm. So I have some ideas that I would like to do and do like a handful of short scenes, put it out there and see if I can get some momentum off of that to maybe pitch the idea of being able to do my own fan film.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm talking no more than like 2-3 minute scenes. That's it. Nothing crazy. Just short little blips.
Movie Chat and More sends in £2, says, hey, Dave, watching It's Him Again, The Moaner. Oh, that's good. You mean my film or Black Christmas? If you're watching a Black Christmas, that's great. The Moaner. The Mona. It's him again, The Mona. No, that sounds like somebody from Star Wars.
It does. I was going to say, what?
Sounds like a Star Wars character. I should have killed the baby.
I still would love to know how they did the footstep sound designs.
How they did the footstep sound? You just would have added footsteps
without us seeing back then. Without us seeing.
You mean like the sound or the
sound and then the running sound and all of that?
Oh, they just would have done it in post. They just would have added it. They would have added it in post.
Except for that, someone was probably knocking on the door.
Yeah, like the sound. the sound would have been done in post. That sound would have been done in post, not in camera. I don't think.
No, I know. I still would have liked to know how they did that trick. I just so that I would know like how they execute because it sounds so believable. Right. It sounds like it's in the room with them. I'd love to know how they did that in post.
It probably was recorded as ADR after. So whoever they probably recorded the sound
and then just added
in the room. Yeah, in the room separately and then added it as a layer so it sounds like it's in the same space. That's what they would have done. Show yourself.
I love when Mika tries to get all tough.
He Yeah, show yourself, you fucking son of a bitch. Honey, stay there. All of a sudden, he turns
Caleb,
the corner
I
and
know
he's
it's
naked?
sound effects. The thing I was saying to Dave is I would love to have known how they did that, because the audio sound is it really, that's hard to do, because sometimes I know in sound designs, it sounds like it's being done in post. Whereas in this movie, they did it so well, it does sound like the entity is there in the room with them. Mm-hmm. And that's a very hard thing to do, to pull that type of sound design off. Did he say come spaz out over here?
I don't know, but he's naked. No, he's not naked. That'd be funny. Mika, why are you naked? Oh my God, I don't have my clothes on. The evil entity took his clothes off.
The Mona.
Hello.
See, like that, like the little creepy noise. The little creepy noise like that they're hearing downstairs, like that shit I fucking love. It's subtlety, but it's fucking great.
It is great. Thank you, Frank.
It's not over the top.
Because I have the auto. Oh, my autofocus is. No, my autofocus is off. That's weird. I thought maybe my autofocus was on, but my autofocus is off. So I don't know why I'd be going in and out like that, Frank. I'm not sure. It's a good question. No, I'm not sure, Frank. Let's see. No, autofocus is off. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's your eyes, Frank.
And now she's becoming possessed again. See, it's like this. It's like these little things that happen to her during this movie. That when I think of someone becoming possessed by a spirit, it to me it just seems more believable.
I get it. That might have been the first kind of cut. It almost looked like a crossfade. That was kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know why I don't know why they chose this angle, because this is the first time in the movie where it does look staged.
Right. Yeah.
He should have kept the camera on the other other angle.
Correct.
It's like, why would you move the camera over here?
Yeah. Stay here, honey. I'll get the machine gun. He gets out that gun that Jesse Ventura uses in Predator. It's like, holy fuck, where'd you get that? Shut up, honey. That'd be crazy. Movie Chat More follows up with fellatio. It's a new exchange. Yeah, that's a funny line in that movie. And the cop had no idea what she was talking about.
The photo is broken.
He's even got like a scar on his face. It's great.
I've never even noticed that before. I knew the camera broke, but I've
really
I've never noticed how his face is like
fucked up,
cut up.
Yeah.
No shit.
Ooh. They live in a house. It's just the two of them, but yet they have 3 bedrooms. Maybe they're planning on expanding their family.
Well, if they're a young couple planning to get married, have kids.
That's true.
A demon child.
Have sleep, obviously, she has a sister.
That's true. Yeah.
So guess.
They're swingers, right? They have people over.
Yeah. Robert, I have thought about doing a Paranormal Activity photo shoot. I've actually thought about doing it in the black and white style that I've been doing lately on my pictures, the old vintage.
Yeah, those photos look great. I like that you've been doing that. Looks good stuff.
It's different. Gives a little fresh look.
Yeah. Doesn't the guy does he freak out and leave or something?
Yeah, he doesn't stay very long. He's like, fuck you guys, I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's right. It's like freaking out.
He's like,
I
nope.
help you. What?
I'm gone.
I've got to get out of here. This thing is very aggravated. The fact that I'm here.
Wait. Everybody calm down. We need your help.
Well, I've got to tell you, I am not the person to help you in this situation. This is not my area of expertise.
Yeah, everybody calm down. That sounded like a bit of a line. I wouldn't have said everybody because there's only two people you're trying to convince to calm down. So I wouldn't have said everybody calm down, because when you say everybody, I figure that you're speaking to 5 people, 4 or 5 people.
A group.
Sure. A group, right? And she goes, "Oh, wait, everybody calm down. There's 2 of you." I think she should have just said, "Wait, guys, calm down." That kind of thing. It sounded a little like a line. But there's a few moments where you're like, it sounds a little liney. But overall, the film is done very well to make it feel genuine and conversational.
Yeah. See, because now, he keeps the camera there. Mm-hmm. This is more believable. He just put the camera down.
Yeah, because when it cuts to the other angle, it's the security camera.
Right.
Yeah. I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah, I think you're right. It was a creative decision to just use the sheets because it does show a lot of texture coming off of the lighting there that they're using for the security camera.
Yep.
Security camera.
Yep. Yeah. It was probably a practical decision to do that.
I give them credit, because if this was a real thing at this point, I'd be fucking long gone. I would not be in the house anymore at this point. As cool as it would be to experience something paranormal, if I was truly experiencing the level of shit that they're going through at this point, gone. Fuck that. Nope.
Yeah. I like that.
That's
how
right.
The sheets come up. Whatever. I think
little, maybe this is where Juan got his idea for The Conjuring.
Well, maybe. I think somebody, if I'm not mistaken, there's somebody on the other side of the bed lying on the ground pulling the sheets too. I believe that's how they did some of those effects. I don't know about that particular effect we just watched, but
it makes sense.
I know watching something on this not too long ago, there is somebody else that, pulls the sheets, obviously.
Obviously, someone's in the background there, just turn the light on.
Why would you not? Although I will say this, I like that, seeing the little shadow go across the door,
Yeah, I love that. Great effect.
Yeah.
Subtle, simple, great.
Yep. Although, why would you not go to a hotel?
I know. That's what I'm saying. At this point, I'd be gone.
At this point, and probably like a half hour earlier, why would you continue to sleep there? You wouldn't continue to sleep there.
No.
There's no way you continue to sleep there. No. No, you'd go to a motel. You go to a hotel. You go to your sister's. You'd sell the house.
Burn it to the ground.
Now, when he walked past the door, his shadow projected onto the door. I think it would have been cool. This is a little too Hollywood, but if he had walked past, his shadow is in line with him, and then he walks away, but his shadow remains on the door.
Stays. Yeah, that it would have been Hollywood, but it would have been cool.
Would have been a little too Hollywood, a little too, but it would have been cool. Would have been cool. And by this point in the movie, you probably could get away with it because, you're like an hour and 10 minutes in, people are waiting.
And they never turn on the lights. I've noticed that.
No. Well, it kills the mood. I mean, listen, sometimes you have scenes. Well, we did that in It's Me, Billy, too, right? You certainly can have your actors turn on the lights, and you can find reasons for them to turn on the lights. You can find reasons for them to justify why they're not turning on the lights, like the power is out or, whatever the case is. But sometimes in horror movies, you just get people, they're in the moment, they get up, they're walking around. I mean, listen, when I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, I don't turn on a light. I know my house, I know the space, I get up, I walk to the bathroom,
Sure.
There's many times where you can sort of walk around your space at night or whatever. And like I always say, although this is a bit different because clearly there's weird shit going on. But in a lot of horror films, you always have to remember that the characters don't know they're in a horror movie. Generally speaking, sometimes there's a point where they, shit hits the fan, obviously, but it's not unprecedented to have characters walk around in the dark for whatever
She
reason.
did dye her hair. Sorry, I was listening to what you were saying, but that scene there where Katie was sitting in the bed.
Yeah.
It was daytime.
Yeah.
Her hair was jet black.
It did look
black.
It looked really
black.
dark. Yeah, it did.
And now here looks a lot lighter.
It does.
It threw me off for a minute. I was just like, damn. So that might have been I wonder if that was an add-in scene that they shot afterwards, because her hair was jet black. And then now it's back to what it looks like, which is dark. It's a dark brunette, which I love. I think it's great. But here you can tell it's a little bit lighter. So I'm wondering if that was an extra scene that they shot.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because like here, she's got like red highlights, like, you know what I mean, coming off the light.
Well, it looks, the light is the light shining down does look like her hair is sort of like an auburn kind of. Yeah, does look like that. When blah 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 blah. Folks, did you know when this movie was made, the iPhone didn't exist? Think about that. Smartphones in the ways
Facebook was
2 years old,
but you had to you could only get it if you went to college.
Yeah.
You had to have a college email address. It wasn't open to the public, meaning
in 06 I think it was, or it started to in 06. Yeah.
Sure?
04 it wasn't. 03 or 4 or 5 I don't, but I think by 06 it was. I think anyway. Maybe I'm wrong.
MySpace was in final days. We're still hanging on by a thread, but not much.
The smartphone was not a thing yet. BlackBerry ruled the world.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Instagram was not a thing, because that didn't come till around 2008.
Twitter was not a thing either.
The world was a much better place.
It's a much happier place. It's a much better place. Yeah.
Quieter. A lot quieter. YouTube was around because YouTube came out in 2006, right?
2005.
So it was a year. And YouTube back then, it was kitty videos, right. With cute kittens and all this shit.
Yeah.
Nobody was doing what you're doing, or any movie reviews or anything like that.
Right.
I know PewDiePie was doing the gaming thing. He was one of the more popular ones in the early days of YouTube.
No, this film came out in 2007. The Sound Painters Studio came out in 2007. The movie was released on Blu-ray and DVD in 2009, but the actual film itself,
its first showings though were in 2006. So they've probably filmed this between 2005 and 6.
Probably. Yeah.
Showings meaning in the festivals.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. By the time it came out on in the theater, I believe it was 07. And then it didn't come out on Blu-ray or DVD till 09. So yeah.
I think this is when her leg gets, where James Wan steals the idea for The Conjuring.
He might have. You see the shadow come in there. That's so that might have been a digital effect, but that would have been easy to do.
It's a great effect though.
Yeah,
it's a great effect. Here it is.
That's
now
really
she gets
cool.
dragged.
Yeah. I mean, that they did it first.
Great effect. I like Christie's one better in the second one, but that was so fucking cool as shit.
Yep. Oh yeah, because it's subtle, right? And it's and it's like, wow.
And it looks real. It looks like damn
look real. And we hadn't seen 453,721 movies at this point that had also done it. See, now you see something like that today, and it's like, whatever, no big fucking deal, because that's all over. Once somebody says, "Oh, let's do that," But at this point in time, that was fairly new.
Was there no Netflix? Because remember, Netflix used to do the DVDs before it went to streaming.
Netflix existed, but it was a rental thing where you rented DVDs and you had them shipped to your home and things like that.
Right.
Yeah, they had boxes.
Because my buddy Devin had that, and my mom had that as well too, I believe.
Yeah.
I didn't do the Netflix DVD thing, but I was gonna say, like, I knew it was around back then, but it wasn't streaming. It was they would send you a thing and you send it back. And
oh geez, we could go back. I mean, let's go all the way back to the 80s and we were kids. There was a lot of stuff that didn't exist.
If I could get the world where it was at this point in time, you got a little bit of social media, enough out there to be entertained, that would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Now we're just like inundated.
Oh, it's the Oasis. It's the
See,
Matrix.
like this shit. Like I believe this. You know, it's again a subtle, simple, bite mark, bruise, whatever you want to call it. It's creepy as fuck, but that's what I envision someone going through when they're going through some type of a possession. Yeah, it's
progressively getting worse and worse for her,
but not over the top.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, which is why I like the other ending better, the original ending that was seen at the festivals, where she murders.
Oh, right.
And then she herself gets murdered by the cops. Like it feels almost, because at that point it's just so bad. It's just better. It's what unfortunately happens. And listen, I'm sure at this point in time, the director's like, whatever, I've made a fortune off of it. I didn't, he probably doesn't feel like he sold his soul to the devil, but certainly I do. When I look at the theatrical ending, I think the original ending, the ending before Paramount came along and added $200,000 into the movie to add a couple of different options for the ending.
Moments.
And not that there's anything wrong with what they did. I mean, it's not like it's way over the top, but it's just that little extra Hollywood. They just added a little bit of Hollywood to the theatrical release. And when you watch the original ending, like I said, Katie murders Mika. I think it's Mika? Whatever. Mika. Yeah. And she comes back into the room and she sits leaning against the bed for like
fucking crazy
forever. Yeah. And then the cops show up and it's the next night. Like she sat there for 24 hours and they're like, hello, police. Feels, and you're watching it all through the security cam. And then she's got the knife in her hand and she was killed. Yeah. She was killed right there in the hallway. And they're like, shots fired. Are you okay, man? What's going on? Oh shit. We're gonna, and it feels real. Like it's kind of like, fuck, man. And see, at that point, they would never have known that she was possessed. To them and to the mainstream public, on the news, it would have just been a woman who murdered her husband, and you don't know why. Do you know what I mean? Like that would have been the official story that probably got out. Now, maybe there would have been some rumblings because of the medium psychic guy. Like maybe he would have been interviewed or something. I don't know. And maybe there would have been rumors that would have been like, supposedly she was possessed, whatever. But the actual mainstream thing that would have been out there was, because the cops showed up, would have been like, oh yeah, she murdered her husband. She went crazy and they shot her.
She gives a creepy smile here.
Yeah.
God damn. Chick is batshit crazy.
She's batshit crazy.
Fuck yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's why, like, when we talk about this particular time, if that's all we evolved to, there's enough technology around that you could still be entertained. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times I get messages from people on Instagram, like, why don't you do
she sat up like Michael Myers.
I know, that was a fucking great sit-up, Katie.
It's a great sit-up. All she had to do was turn her
head.
Great
sit-up. I know. That was a great sit-up. You don't see that too often, but that was a great sit-up.
You don't. Yeah, now, here, what she does is she goes to the other. This is the theatrical ending that you're watching. So this is the ending that Paramount reshot. Right. Okay, this was not part of what they initially shot. So this is well after the fact. They had gone back to the room.
I'm telling you, man.
Now there's somebody on the other side of the bed. There's somebody on the other side of the bed pulling that.
Obviously, just out of camera shot.
Yeah, exactly. And she walks around to the other side of the bed and stares at him. And I think there's a little bit of a time lapse. And that's not what's in the OG ending. And you can watch the OG ending on YouTube. Just YouTube, Paranormal Activity original ending, and you'll see it.
I'm telling you, man, if she ever does this to me, I'm going to go nuts.
That's so great, though. I love that. That's great.
Don't ever do that to me. If you're watching, don't ever do that to me.
And then she comes around.
I'm going to wake up, start swinging.
And then she leaves. And then, of course, there's the big scream. And
because it's just creepy, just having someone just standing over you like that. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We're trying to sleep.
I want to turn this up here so people can hear this scream. There's a low bass, a low rumble. And it's like, what's going on here?
I hate what they do in Paranormal 5, what they explain why she starts screaming like this.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Oh, they explained why? Oh, fuck. Not knowing is better. Not knowing is better. I don't give a
it's
fuck
so
what anybody
stupid.
says.
It is so stupid what's explained.
And then it just suddenly stops. You know what I mean? Like there's no, it stops on a dime, like somebody turned off the fucking switch, which is great. Really, really well done.
Yeah. Don't watch Paranormal 5 because it's stupid. The marked ones. I think that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Right, this is when she fucking throws him like a football.
I don't even know what they are. The marked ones, the fat ones. I don't know. What does that even mean?
Don't be body shaming.
I'm not body shaming. Come on. He threw. That's right. He comes in. I'm not there yet, but there we go. Boom. Now again, that was something that Paramount added in, and they wanted the whole. I mean, I get it. I understand. I can see the justification for the little theatrical nature of it, but the original ending is really, really cool.
The original ending, now that because I remember watching that, now that you've talked about it enough, on the stream, I remember that. I agree. I think this is just okay. I get why they're doing it. It leaves the door open to do part 2 and so on and so forth. I get it.
And there it is. There you go.
There it is.
Yeah. And that's all she wrote, folks. That is 2007's Paranormal Activity. Mika's body was discovered by police on October 11th, 2006. So that's like 3 days after this. I guess they could still. Katie's whereabouts remains unknown. Yeah. Her whereabouts remains unknown. What happened to her? What happened to her?
You don't want to know.
You don't want to know.
No, you really don't want to know. Leave it to what you know of the first 2. I'm going to leave it as that because all the explanations that end up happening later on, it's just like, really? Okay.
I get you. But anyway, I mean, that is Paranormal Activity. And like I said, if you want to watch the original ending, you can YouTube it, just YouTube Paranormal Activity original ending. And it's creepy. It's not as Hollywood. But it's a cool ending. I like it. Let's go to the chat room and take some questions for a little bit and see what you guys are talking about. Okay. Let's see here. Any questions for Tony, Michael, and I? Super Soul Fry Disco says, have you guys done VHS yet? No, we have not. We've not done it. I haven't even seen VHS.
We should do that sometime next year.
Is it good? I haven't seen it.
It's good. It's solid.
VHS. I think Bloody Disgusting produced those, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see here. Katie sees the dude. That's not why she screams. Oh, yeah. This is so stupid. Who cares? Nobody needs to know why. Nobody needs to know why Katie is screaming.
But Dave!
More frightening.
But Dave! We need to know why Dr. Loomis stood over there and didn't see Michael laying down on the ground.
No, well, because he got up even ready to go. Go. I don't know. I don't know idea where he went. Evil Alex says, do you guys believe in ghosts and did paranormal stuff happen to you? Evil Alex, this question, we've been asked this question a few times before. I can't, it take too long to get into it, but I don't know is the question. I do believe, and I always say having a belief in something isn't evidence of that something's existence. Evidence is, concrete, objective, measurable, verifiable evidence. We can believe in a lot of things. I can believe that there's a green cookie monster on the moon and okay, you can believe that if you want, but that doesn't mean that there is. But I will say that I have had some weird, unusual experiences in my life, something that was the inspiration for a feature-length film that I would love to do, that does make me believe that there is something survives the process of death. I don't necessarily believe that that's, the way Hollywood depicts ghosts and things, things like that. But I tend to look at it more from a scientific point of view, like, consciousness and self-awareness. And when we die, what happens to our consciousness? What happens to our, how long does consciousness survives the process of death? I find that stuff really, really fascinating because there is evidence, like a real actual scientific evidence. And, we know this from people that have had NDEs, near-death experiences, and, you know, they've been clinically dead. I mean, their heart has stopped. There's no brain activity whatsoever, and they've been dead for 5 minutes or whatever it is, and they're trying to revive them, or they've been intentionally, killed or whatever for whatever operation that's happening, or they're trying to bring them back with CPR. And we know, not all the time, but there's been people that have come back. This has been documented. You probably heard this. We've all heard these kinds of things where they have been able to recite the conversations that are happening in the operating room. They know who's there. They know what the doctors and nurses were talking about. They could see themselves being operated on, or some of the crazier shit is they knew what their family members were saying down the hall 3 floors down or something. You know what I mean? That's not a common thing, but there are things like that being told by physicians, doctors, things like that. So what happens to our consciousness? Yeah. I think that's right. Where does the seat of consciousness lie is fascinating. Does the brain produce consciousness, or is it produced from some other means, so that when the brain dies and the body dies, it can, I don't know. That's fast. So I like to look at it from that perspective because, I don't know. I think it's just, if we really want to know if ghosts are really real and if people do really survive, there's only so much ghost hunting and EVP we can do until we're just going around in circles. Clearly there's something weird going on. So let's look at it from a more kind of measurable, can we actually figure out if something survives the process of death? Because then we'll know. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I look at it. And I do believe that something does. But what that is, I have no idea. I don't know. But Tony, what about you?
Yep. I just haven't experienced it yet.
There you go. Rock on. Short and sweet to the point. Let's see here. A Booster Seat sends in $2, says, why haven't you guys done Misery yet? Well, we haven't done Misery yet because we just don't fucking care. No, I'm just kidding, dude.
We don't want to. How about that?
No. I love Misery. One of my favorite movies. It's a fantastic film. We just haven't done it yet. But you know what? Maybe in the new year, we should totally do it. Because Misery's a great movie.
Good one to do like March or something like that.
Yeah, I love Misery.
Middle of winter or whatever.
Yeah, well, we got to do it in winter because it's a winter movie. Yeah. So, yeah, I love Misery. We'll do it. We don't generally arbitrarily pick movies for no reason. So if you pay attention to the movies, I mean, obviously we understand it's the Christmas season. Here we are doing a Paranormal Activity. But that's usually because we're trying to catch up on some stuff. But if you pay attention to what we do throughout the year, it usually fits the period, the season, the holiday, the vibe of the time of year, things like that.
Or just movies we've been trying to get to for a while that we haven't. Like the one we're doing next week. We've been trying to get to that. We just haven't gotten to it. We're finally getting to it.
That's it. Fast Forwards 289 sends in $4.99, says, have you all seen Polaroid? If so, what did you think? I think it's pretty good. Polaroid. That's not the Robin. No, the Robin Williams one is one hour photo. 1 hour Polaroid.
I think that's the one with Joshua Jackson, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh, yes. I haven't seen it.
I think I've only seen it once.
Oh, well, no. Is this there's a movie from 2019 called Polaroid. It's got 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Then I'm thinking of something else.
Is that the one you're talking about? I haven't seen it. I have not seen it. Maybe there's another one called Polaroid. I'm not sure. Very generous super chat comes in from Super Soul Fried Disco, sends in $50. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. Says, regarding the Halloween movies, just kidding. Wishing you both a Merry Christmas and all the best in your ventures in 2022. Well, thank you very much, Super Soul Fried Disco. We really appreciate that, man. That's awesome. You could have just, said that and not sent that in. So really appreciate that. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. We will, it's hard to believe it's Christmas already in a couple of weeks. Tony, are you doing anything special for Christmas?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
No, not doing anything. Just don't give a shit. And I think you should dress up as Santa Claus, get completely inebriated, and walk up and down your street swearing obscenities at the children.
Go full Billy Bob Thornton.
Well, yeah, or Silent
Go
Night,
full
Deadly
bad-
Night, you know.
Bad Santa.
Or show up at your next photography gig dressed as Santa, completely inebriated, and just start taking photos that are awful. The framing is off, the exposure is off, and you edit them and you send it to your client.
That'd be no. God, no.
Obviously, I'm joking, but that'd be funny.
It would be funny to do on like a horror themed shoot, but yeah.
April Fools. April Fools. So good. Let me see here. Caleb Ellis says there's an alternate ending on the DVD where Katie slits her throat. Yes, that's the alternate ending. So the alternate ending is Katie slitting her throat. The theatrical ending was the one that we watched tonight. And the original ending, the $15,000 ending. Not that the ending cost $15,000. I mean the movie the ending that was in the original movie that went to the festivals before Paramount came along.
I've seen the slitting her throat. I never liked that ending.
Yeah,
Never liked that. I was like, no, bad idea.
I believe that was also because of Paramount. I don't think that was an alternate ending to the original cut. I think that was, they had decided on a couple of endings, if I'm not mistaken, or they had shot a couple of endings. I think anyway. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, I still like the original. I think I'm a very purist OG kind of guy. Unimpressive Media says, hey, Dave and Tony, for next April Fools, I think you guys should watch a 90-minute video of paint drying. It would still be very entertaining. You know, that's not a bad idea. Tony, what do you think?
That'd be funny.
90 minutes of paint drying, and we don't say a word.
No, we just sit here for 90 minutes staring at the paint.
Nothing. They're literally, it's like this. It's like this.
You know what's funny, dude? Here's the funny part. If we actually did an actual channel dedicated to just staring at paint drying, we'd probably get millions of fucking views. We really would. If we never said a word, never said a word.
Yep.
We just sat there and stared for 90 minutes at a time, watching paint dry, we'd get millions of fucking views.
Because that is where the world, listen, I discovered,
yes.
Listen.
I'm glad you said it.
We're 42 years old. Not that it's old, but I'm just saying we might be a little bit out of the loop for the TikTok generation. Just not that there aren't people our age and older on there. I'm just saying, right? I think you know what I'm trying to say. So I discovered the other day, I don't know why, I was looking for something on YouTube and I came across this thing called mukbanging or mukbonging or whatever it is, and it's people that eat gigantic amounts of unhealthy food, enormous amount of calories. And by the way, there's a couple of people on there that profess to be eating like 50,000 calories in a day. Fuck off, bullshit. I don't buy it whatsoever.
Bullshit. Even the fucking, even like the guys who do strongman training.
I know
those guys are barely getting in 10,000 a day.
But there's some of these guys that profess, and look, the videos are heavily edited, and they're sitting there and they're pretending to eat all this. I don't buy it. I'm open to be proven wrong, but I don't fucking buy you're shoving 100,000 calories into your gullet bullshit. In a day or 2 days. I don't fucking buy it at all. Yeah. I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't buy it. Yeah. But there are people that buy into it. They believe it. Oh my God, this guy's so cool. Anyways, there's people, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? There's these ginormous people who are probably on the cusp of a heart attack and are already diabetic, no doubt about it. They're sitting there stuffing their faces, and I'm thinking, oh sure, YouTube doesn't take them down. Like, does that not classify as, I don't know, this shouldn't be something we should be promoting? Now, I don't want to get political. Let's not go down that route. I'm just shocked that these channels can get away with that, because it's like, this is what the
Are you kidding
fuck
me?
are we doing now?
I remember the first and only
man.
The first, and I literally deleted it within 1 hour. I signed out of curiosity. I signed up for TikTok just to see, and I was like, holy balls. I went into the fucking dark hole of fucking stupidity. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, I figured out the formula, though, of how you need to succeed on TikTok. You basically got to look completely fucking stupid and just spit out a bunch of fucking dumb shit. Yeah. And you're going to be popular. And I'm just like, okay, there is a girl on TikTok. Yeah. And she's going to be a millionaire soon. Yeah. Like, and this is no joke.
Dude, I could go on TikTok right now and go for 20 minutes. Well, I guess you can't do 20 minutes. I could do 30 seconds All my videos are just me going. Yes,
and you're gonna be. And you're gonna be stunning and brave.
100%. And then the next day, I'm outside. I'm at the mall. I'm outside, and I have my camera with me, my phone, and I'm walking into the mall, and I'm going, and I go up to like merchandise. I go up to like a can of Coke, and I'm like, and I posted on TikTok, hundreds of thousands of views. People going. That guy is so cool. What the fuck is going on with the world, man? What's happening? I don't know. Holy shit! I'm surprised. I should do that. I should start doing that.
You should. You'd be famous. Like I was starting to say, there's a girl on TikTok, and this just goes to show you how many lonely fuckers there are out there. She's selling her farts in a jar for $1,000 a pop. $1,000. I am not fucking kidding you. This is yes. Look it up. This is legitimately true. She's selling her fucking farts in a jar for $1,000, and there are fucking idiots buying it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Is she attractive?
Yes, that's why.
That is why. That's why. Do you think, and listen, I say this with all due respect. Come on, we're adults here. We can implement some new, well, no, that's not true. That's not true. I was about to say something. No, there's people with weird fetishes out there. There could be somebody who's 750
What, farts in a jar for $1,000?
I know, that's ridiculous. That is insane. What the hell is going on? Farts in a jar.
For $1,000.
$1,000, ladies and gentlemen.
What the hell?
I'm gonna start. Well, why doesn't you just shit in the jar and sell that for $10,000? I mean,
oh my god! Like,
why stop at farts? Why stop at farts?
We are reaching levels of stupidity with the human race that I fear what's going to happen to my niece and nephews when they get to our age. Like, dude, oh my God.
Why stop at farts? I mean, why don't you just shit in a jar and sell it for $1,000? Sell for $10,000. That's what I'm going to start doing.
Like, what the hell?
Voice actor Dave McRae shits in a jar. Sells it for $10,000 on TikTok.
You'd be a millionaire. You would. I'm telling you, dude. If you started doing the voices. That's right. She sells. People
in the chat room know who she is.
She sells scratch and sniff pictures. Like,
there's people in the chat room that are buying this stuff. That's what it is.
No, I don't think our people buy it. I don't think I don't think the people who watch us. No. I think we have a normal group of people that watch us, with the occasional. You know, we got maybe like one idiot that fucking follows us, but other than that, I'd say about 99.9% of everyone who follows us is normal and level head, minus the one idiot.
Jesus.
But Jesus.
I'm starting a TikTok account, and it's literally.
You should.
It's 5 seconds.
You really should.
It's me. It's 5 seconds. It's me every day. Actually, people will just start to think that's how I am. Oh my God.
It's so fucking crazy.
Holy shit. Sweet tea. Thank you, Sweet Tea. Appreciate that. The tea is sweet tonight. Sweet Tea says, for the channel, my friends, be safe too. Thank you so much, Sweet Tea. Really, really appreciate that. You be safe as well. And of course, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Festivus, whatever you celebrate this time of year. Enjoy it and be safe out there, whatever it is. Wow. That's just totally crazy. Totally crazy.
I'm trying to find her handle.
You're trying to find her handle?
Yeah, so you guys can know. I don't have TikTok, but I mean, if you Google, Stephanie Mateo, Matto, selling farts for $1,000. What the fuck?
What's her name?
I can't even say it without laughing because it sounds so stupid. Stephanie Mateo selling farts for $1,000. Like, what the fuck? Okay. Alrighty then.
Stephanie Mateo. Okay,
I thought our generation was bad growing up in the 80s and 90s. Oh my God, no.
I got to look it up. Stephanie Mateo. Here she is. Oh, God. This is her, right? So she's on Instagram as well, I guess? Stephanie Mateo. Oh, no, that can't be her. There must be a lot of Stephanie Mateos out there. I just Googled her name and a bunch of them came up, so I'll just leave that for now. All right, let's see here. Okay, it's 2 hours now. What do you want to do? You want to go to 8:15, another 5-6 minutes?
Sure, 8:30, whatever. Yeah,
whatever. Just take this thing. All right, let's see here. What else we got going on?
Hey, you know what though? You can't hate on the girl. You can't hate on the girl. You know what I mean? Like, look, if she's got something that
she's exploiting fucking idiots.
Pretty much, because I mean, if someone's willing to pay her $1,000, it's not her fault that there's idiots out there that are going to drop $1,000 on her fucking fart in a jar.
Exactly.
Like, what the hell?
Exactly. And you know, that's what it is that at the end of the day, you know, she's why blame? I mean, yes, of course it's dumb, of course it's ridiculous, it's absurd, but who's as they say in Star Wars, who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows him? I mean, let's be honest here. Who's the idiot? The guy that jumps off the cliff, or the guys that all go after him and jump off the cliff? I mean, come on, there's got to be I mean, why are people buying this?
I don't know.
You know, like, Jesus Christ, if you didn't buy it, you wouldn't sell it.
Right. And then I see the people like on YouTube. I see the people on like, you ever see that guy Joey T Bones? I don't know, he's a funny dude. Like he's constantly ripping on like narcissistic people who are doing like all these like video shoots of themselves, pictures, and like he's funny as shit because I think the same shit all the time too.
Right.
And the videos I laugh at the most that he's making fun of are the people that like our age that are in their 40s. Because to me, I think TikTok really is. To me, I look at TikTok as more for young adults, teenagers, young adults. It's really meant for that. And when I see people our age doing shit that the young people are doing, like, they're trying to be cool. Like that just looks like when they're dancing and stuff like that. Like I'm just like, just stop.
I've seen a couple of TikTok videos that have made me laugh. You know,
there's some genuine funny ones
for sure.
But when you're talking about people our age that should not be doing some of the shit that I see that they're doing, it's just like, what the fuck?
Right.
Like, no, you're a fucking parent. Be a parent.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Cody Snyder, hey Cody, what's going on, my man? Sends in $5. Says, for the crazy cats and ditzy dogs in this chat room tonight. Yes. Thank you very much, Cody. Appreciate that. Hope everybody is doing well and getting excited for the Christ Mass Christmas season.
I'm gonna sit in a dark room drinking a cold bowl of soup on Christmas, just like Scrooge.
You should. I think you should. Why not do that? Why not do that? Just kind of hang out, do that. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I mean, you know, it's one of those things where, it's like.
What happened?
Oh, nothing. I'm just laughing at the absurdity of farts in a jar. I just can't get that out of my head now. I mean,
and I agree with the comment here. Jackass did move all of this forward.
Right.
I agree with that. But Jackass also was, you know, what works with Jackass is it's a one group of people. It's not the entire fucking population becoming fucking idiots. Okay.
Right.
That's the part that, you know, like when you're talking about one group of people doing crazy ass fucking off the wall fucking stunts.
Right.
You know, for a movie or a TV series, whatever. Okay. That I can, you know, it's fucking nuts. And the shit that they were doing is fucking crazy.
Right.
But like he said, it's moved forward, but now this is just how people are acting on a fucking daily basis. And that's not normal.
That's
like, you know, like when you think of like Knoxville and Bam Margera and all these guys, they weren't doing this like around the fucking clock. It was only when the cameras were rolling.
Right.
The problem is people are now doing this around the clock and it's becoming a fucking, I mean, there's countless times that I'm seeing girls literally in the middle of a fucking parking lot as I'm trying to fucking drive out and they're sitting there with their friends while they're fucking dancing in the middle. I'm like, hello, there's a fucking sidewalk there. You don't need to be dancing in the fucking parking lot.
Yeah. And I get it too there's something I like to call sidewalk etiquette, and it's just lost on the younger generation. I'll be jogging down the sidewalk, and of course I'm one person and I'm jogging, and there's two people coming towards me. Now, if I was with my girlfriend and we were walking down the sidewalk and there was somebody walking towards me or jogging towards me, I would, or she would, slip in behind, right? I would kind of just let them go by. You know, man, I'm not going to stand there and let them go around, like take up the whole fucking sidewalk. But that's what these young kids do. They sit there and I'm like, I'm getting closer. And they're like, yeah, they're completely oblivious to the fact, get the fuck out of my way. You know, do you have to get out of my way? Can I go up onto the grass and around you? Sure. But it's the principle of it. I'm just like, come on, get the fuck out of the way. Stop being a dick. No. It's ridiculous.
The older I get, the older I get, the more relatable to Cartman from South Park I become.
Well, that's just it. That's just it.
Like,
yeah, I hear you.
Like, I totally get where he's coming from now, because he wasn't so crazy after all. And the less I want to fucking socialize with people and be out in the world, like, I get that argument all the time where people are like, well, don't you, aren't you gonna not, like, is it gonna bother you that you can't go anywhere,
right?
You're not vaccinated and all that stuff like that. Like, dude, I don't want to go anywhere. Like, I'm very happy in my little space where I'm at, away from everybody, and just doing my own thing. I don't need to be around people anymore because we're just nuts.
That's it. Yep, that's it. Totally. Chester Franklin Jr. says, Tony, have you guys think about doing Escape from New York, watch along, and Christine watch along on Two Dudes? Well, we've done Christine. We've done Christine. We haven't done Escape from New York yet, though, but that is something that we might do. Yeah, for sure. I like Escape from New York. Yeah, but we have done Christine. We have done Christine. So, we have done that. Robert Thidoff says, D&T 1987 was a great year for movies, but some really awful ones. Jaws the Revenge, Master of the Universe, Teen Wolf 2. Which one is so bad it's so good that you have to watch when it's on? Oh, I would say probably Masters of the Universe. But then again, I was a big He-Man fan.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're a big He-Man fan. I would probably go Teen Wolf 2 because I like Jason Bateman. Definitely, I've appreciated Bateman more in the last, say, like, since Arrested Development to today, with all the stuff that he's doing.
Right.
In fact, I actually just watched him with your girl because it was on HBO Max and I had access to it.
My girl.
I'm not a big fan of hers, but I know you like her. Oh shit.
Jennifer Love Hewitt?
No, she was in Ghostbusters, the female version. She did a movie with Bateman, The Identity Theft.
Identity Thief. Melissa McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy.
I adore her. I think she's awesome. I think she's hilarious.
Great movie. But what I like about Jason Bateman is that his straight humor it's just so on point. Yes. Like, sometimes I just think Jason Bateman is playing Jason Bateman. You know what I mean? Like, I think, like, that's who he is in real life. He just shows up and says, okay, I'm going to be me. So, all right.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, he's somebody that is he plays the straight man really well. You know what I mean? And for the younger generation, we're not talking about his sexuality. We're talking about
it's like Abbott and Costello, the straight man and the funny guy. Costello was which one was the funny guy? Shit, I can't remember now.
I can't remember who was.
I can't remember who's Costello and who's Abbott. I can't remember now. Like, I see their faces, but I just can't remember which one was which. But that's basically where it comes from. Yes. You have the funny guy and the straight man.
Yeah. Well, it's like that for years. It's a comedic thing. Yeah. Somebody is plays the common sense, and the other person is the sort of the theatrical kind of person. Like in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Steve Martin was the straight man. John Candy was the weird one, the funny one.
Oh, I've got a suggestion. Which reminds me, when we go off the air, I've got a really cool suggestion for the new year to do a good run.
Okay. Diehard Drummer 84 sends in $1.99, says, at Tony, go Dogs, go Pats.
Yeah, well,
go Dogs, go.
We didn't have a good weekend on this weekend. The Dogs got their asses handed, which I kind of knew it was going to happen. Georgia hasn't really, not saying that, they've played weak teams this year, because the SEC is certainly not a weak conference by any means. But, Alabama's they're just, if you grew up a big baseball fan, then you're going to understand this reference. for the Bulldogs, the Georgia Bulldogs to Alabama, it's like watching the Yankees and Red Sox through the 80s and 90s and early 2000s before the Red Sox finally got over that hurdle and beat the Yankees in 2004 and won the World Series. Bulldogs, man, they just can't, like, they have great seasons and great years, and and they're my second team to Florida State. If I'm not watching Florida State, I'm watching them. But the heart and passion for them and supporting them as a team is very much there. But they just can't. It's like their Achilles heel, man. Fucking Bama they own them. And I was hopeful, but this defense had not been tested like that. And I knew Bama doesn't really have much of a run game this year. So if they were going to go to the pass game, which is what they did, I thought, I was like, that's going to expose Georgia's defense a lot. And sure enough, it did. They got their asses kicked on Saturday. It was a bad day for Georgia fans.
Bad day for Georgia fans.
Yeah.
I was going to say something and I forget what I was going to say. Oh, well. Let's see where
no, Gary, I have not watched any of the behind the scenes. I'm kind of taking the approach with Scream. I've seen the trailer, and now I'm good. I'm really not going to watch anything else. I'm taking the same approach because now we're so fucking close.
What was it, January 22nd or something?
Yeah. We're talking a month and a half from now. So we're so close to it. I don't really need to see anything else. I don't want to know anything else. So I'm taking the same approach like I did with Kills, and I'm not going to know anything beyond what I already know. And
that's it. See what happens. Let me see here. Dalton Barron says, "Hey Dave, what kind of monitor and desktop do you use?" Well, I run a PC, so I'm a PC guy, not a Mac guy. My desktop, obviously I have the high-end stuff because of what I do. So my desktop is the Alienware Aurora R11. I don't game. I understand it's a gaming computer, but the reason why I purchased it was because of its power and for video editing and rendering and audio editing, and all that kind of stuff. So it is the graphics card in it is, I think, is the 3080, I believe, and 32 gigs of RAM. And so it's a obviously, computers are like phones, and as soon as you buy one, there's something better the next week. But it's a beast. It's a beast of a machine. And the monitor in front of me is just a Samsung monitor. It's a curved monitor. It's 32-inch Samsung monitor. And then I have another monitor over here, which I can bring, and you can see this one, kind of see it off screen. I have another monitor there. That's a Samsung. So I have a monitor here in front of me, a monitor over here, which is a 27-inch Samsung monitor. And then in my voiceover booth over here, if you go in there and this way it opens up, there's also a 21-inch monitor in there, which I read off of for voiceover.
Good shit.
But that's my desktop. That's the desktop, is the Alienware Aurora R11, and then the Samsung 32-inch curved monitor in front of me. Hopefully that helps.
just got a simple 27-inch Mac with a
iMac, right?
iMac, and then a 17-inch MacBook Pro. That's it.
Nice.
I have two.
It's good stuff.
I use, it depends. For certain editing, for certain real estate houses, I use the MacBook Pro because my agents are very particular. They're not all like, they don't all like the same stuff. So like I have to have like, okay, this agent likes her photos super bright. This agent likes his photos a lot more contrast.
Right.
So I've got different programs set up, and I was like, okay, this is when I'm doing multiple in one day.
Right.
It's good to just kind of keep the workflow going. So I got the MacBook Pro just to kind of keep the work going, so I'm not stopping. That's the only time I use it. That's it. Or I use it for DJing, when I'm doing the DJing stuff. But yeah.
Right.
That's just shits and giggles.
Right. Chester Franklin follows up, says, Dave, you guys have never done a Christine commentary on Two Dudes. No, we have. Here, I'll go get it for you.
Well, maybe he's talking about, we did a talk through of it. Maybe we didn't do a watch through.
A watch through? Oh, maybe that's what he's talking about. Yeah, maybe you're right. It's possible.
Yeah, we'll get to it in 2024.
Yeah, so we did do a watch through. That's right. We talked about Christine and Carrie.
Did we watch either one of those? Did we watch Carrie? Yeah, I think we did watch.
We did watch Carrie. Yes.
Because that was with the
That's right.
the Yeah.
Yeah, but Chester's right. If Chester's talking about a watch along, yes, that's right. We haven't done Christine, but we have talked about it. If you YouTube Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, it's from 2 years ago now. But it's certainly, if you want to get our thoughts, I don't think our thoughts would really have changed. You can watch that. Here, I'll get it for you, Chester. It's from, August the 5th, 2019. So 2.5 years ago. Let me just put it in the chat room for Chester. There you go, Chester. That's the link there. And you can hear us talk about Christine and Carrie there. Now, we have done Carrie. If you're a Carrie fan, we have done a watch along with Carrie. But yeah, so we'll probably watch along Christine eventually. I mean, we're in no rush. Like, there's a lot of movies. A lot of people want us to watch this, watch that, watch this, watch that. You can't please everybody. So we sort of like to stick to our own kind of schedule and watch kind of the movies we want to watch that we're passionate about. And movies
like what we're doing next week. We've both been wanting to do this movie for a while. We never got a chance, something would come up or different things would come up. We almost did it one time and then we had to move it out and then we never got back to it. So
that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. But yes, we did talk about Christine. So that link there, if you want to know our thoughts on it, then you can watch that. It's from a couple years ago though. So the setup looks very different. Fast Forwards 289 sends in $9.99. Thanks, buddy. Says, have y'all seen Need for Speed 2014? I have not, but I did like playing the video game. I played it a couple of times. I wasn't like a gamer. I really enjoy that movie and love that 1969 Ford Torino fastback that Aaron Paul drives at the beginning. My dream car. And was finally able to buy a 1968 fastback. Amazing! Congratulations, dude. That's awesome. That's awesome. Goes with your name, right? You're obviously a car guy.
Obviously.
So that's cool. No, have you seen the 2014 Need for Speed?
I have not.
Cool. All right, 5 more minutes left in the show, folks. 5 more minutes left in the show, and that will be all she wrote for Tony and I on this episode. Yeah.
Oh, what's next week? My girl Jessica Roth. Happy Death Day.
Happy Death Day. Happy Death Day.
Really enjoyed that movie, and I can't wait to start shooting with the girl that I wanted to shoot with. Who, we got the T-shirt. She looks great in it.
Yeah.
She ended up getting COVID last year, so we put a stop to it and whatnot. And we just haven't been able to link up and do the shoot. But yeah, I've got this great Happy Death Day themed shoot planned to do up at UGA, University of Georgia.
Right.
And whatnot. And yeah, no, I can't wait to watch that next week. That was a surprised movie that I went into with no expectations and came out going, that was fun. That was good. So it'll be good to watch that next week.
Yeah. And I really liked Happy Death Day. I also really liked Happy Death Day 2. I like how they kind of took it in this really interesting direction. Unfortunately, Happy Death Day 2 did not do as well at the box office as Happy Death Day 1. And therefore, that is why you have not seen a Happy Death Day 3. The director of Happy Death Day 3 is the same director that directed the movie Freaky.
He wants it. He wants to do it. I know he does.
He wants it. But I believe he also directed Freaky, which came out last year. And that's a Blumhouse film as well. He wants to do it. It's just, is the demand there, right? It's all about, if people want, if you want certain movies to go on and continue, then people got to show up. That's just the way it goes. Yeah. Juan Rivera says, D&T, you guys remember Swamp Thing? Such cheese, but a series I loved growing up. I remember the series, but I never watched it. Did you watch it, Tony? No, I didn't either. I did not watch Swamp Thing. All right. 2 more minutes left to go. 2 more minutes left to go in the show. 2 more minutes left to go in the show here on this Monday, December the 6th, 2021, 8:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me see. Helen Park says, Dave and Tony, do you prefer the T-800 as the Terminator or a Protector?
What was the question?
Do we prefer the T-800, Arnold, as the Terminator or as the Protector? Like
kind of both. They
Yeah.
work in both stories, in the first and the second one. I don't really care for anything after that, but if we're basing it off of those two, yeah,
agreed
they work
with that.
both. They work for both of them.
Yeah, I agreed with that. Michael Myers says, Dave and Tony, are you guys going to watch the new Spider-Man movie this month? I probably won't watch it, but that's me.
I mean, when eventually it gets to
Netflix or something or whatever, or wherever it's going,
pop it on. But no, I'm not.
Something like that. Somewhere around there.
No, in fact, probably the only new movie I'm going to see soon will be Matrix. That's it.
Yeah, I'm not as excited for that as I think I would be, but I kind of looks like John Wick in a Matrix movie. Kind of does. He looks like a little bit, just a little bit.
Well, isn't he about to do a fourth one?
He is. He's doing a fourth John Wick movie. Yeah, they're getting a little ridiculous now, though. Like, I mean, they're getting like cartoony. They're getting Roadrunner cartoon shit now, and they're kind of getting to that. Well, they're not there yet, but they're on their way. They're on their way to Fast and Furious territory. I'm not saying they're at Fast and Furious territory where Fast and Furious is right now yet, but I'm just saying you can see the John Wick movies becoming more and more ridiculous with each installment. And, you know, by John Wick 9 or 8, if it gets that far, he's going to be literally punching through walls and jumping off of high-rise buildings, falling 70 stories, landing on his feet. Like, this is literally where we're going with this guy. So, I don't know. It's kind of crazy stuff. But, all right. Well, listen.
Let's go.
That is going to do it for Tony and I here on episode 134 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Thank you to our great moderators, Frank Riker, Tabitha Short, Darren Sands, Chris Baber, for doing what you do. Really appreciate it. You guys are amazing. You know you are. Thank you to all the Super Chat questions that came in today, the non-Super Chat questions that came in today. You guys are amazing. Tony and I will be back next Monday night, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Happy Death Day. Happy Death Day. That should be a good one. I really like that movie. So I'm looking forward to talking about that one as well. Tony, any last things you want to say?
No, I'm good.
No, he's good. He's good. He's good. He's good. All right, folks. Thank you for tuning in. You guys are amazing. You know you are. We will be back. In the meantime and in between time, cheers. Making sure I had the right button on there. All righty. See you later.